All right, everybody, and we are live here for episode 4 of the Crystal Crusaders playing through Storm King's Thunder. I am joined by my lovely players here, and uh, we're going to go ahead and get started first and foremost with a recap of what happened on the last episode, given by none other than Zach playing as Lucas Wormwood. Why don't you go ahead and take it away? Tell us what happened last time on Storm King's Thunder.
All right, last time on the King's Storm Thunder, we picked back off, having been confronted by the dragon, and we all thought that we were going to have a fight on our hands, but it turns out that the dragon, not truly needing our help, wanted us to fight off this last remaining giant, so they didn't have to. So, being the wise people we are, we decided to not say no to the dragon. We went out of our way to go and find this giant, and we did find it. And a fight ensued as we all knew it would. But due to a lack of help, the fight didn't go so much into our favor as we had hoped. It was very close, and some people may have gone down. But luckily enough, none of us died as the giant decided that reuniting with its main force, I suppose, was much more important than staying to finish us off. So, by the grace of some higher power, we all lived. Though it was in the middle of a blizzard and we were separated from some of our comrades, mainly Alexei. We tried searching for her as quickly as we could before we soon realized that we weren't going to find her, not with this blizzard going on. So we decided to hunker down and wait till it subsided to find her. And luckily enough, when it did die down, eventually we did find her alive, thankfully. So finally being reunited, we thought about what our next move should be. And the obvious one was just to head back to Bryn Shander and own up to our failure to Sheriff Markham. We weren't able to bring back any of the of the giant heads that he wanted. So that's what we did. We started going back to Bryn Shander, but we never made it there. Our old friend the dragon was watching us and realized that we didn't do our job that they instructed of us. So as repayment, he decided to they, she decided to gather us all up and take us back to her lair and dive off her boredom, I suppose is the way to say it, by telling her our tales about why we are here. And needless to say, in telling our tales, the Crystal Crusaders here learned some truths about each other that a lot of us probably wanted to keep to ourselves more so than having to let everyone know. But when a dragon tells you to tell it a tale on why you're here, you can't really tell it no. So after we entertained the dragon for about a day here in its lair and learned more about it and about each other, she decided to let us off and took us back out to about an hour's walk out from Bryn Shander, where we all, in silence, decided to just make our way back. And that's kind of where we left off.
Yes, indeed. So you can go ahead and mark your point of inspiration for doing the recap, and we will begin back
And
where
to
you.
immediately remove the point of inspiration for saying the title wrong.
Is that right? The Storm Thunder's
Yeah,
King.
yeah, of course, totally. Um, yeah, so we will pick up right where we left off. You guys had been um, for your well, at least one of your good storytelling, the dragon ice
You're welcome.
That's me.
claws.
That's
You're
me.
welcome.
the
It was me.
the the
Everybody.
the dragon ice claws offered to take you anywhere you wished, within reason, of course, and you eventually
Callum
decided
can.
to to use that trip to head to Bryn Shander, and the dragon had flown you over the plains of the Dales and landed you about like an hour or so outside of Bryn Shander. Still within sort of like sight of it, but not close enough to start being attacked by arrows and crossbows. Uh, and
So, out of
and the dragon
curiosity,
just sort of like flies low over the ground and like drops you into the snow on a hill, and you all like tumble down a ways, but land safely.
yeah. So out of curiosity, how far away are we from that corpse of the other frost giant the dragon had killed?
Oh my god.
Uh,
We do need a giant head.
that corpse. So that it dropped it on you when you were on that side heading this way. Probably like I don't know, like maybe like 3 or 4 hours like travel, because it's kind of like on the other side of Bryn Shander.
Do we have the
Okay.
sled anymore?
Uh, no.
Didn't think so.
We'll just tell Markham where it is so he can go look at it himself.
We
If
just
he
have a
said-
horse.
Yeah. Don't
Nay.
worry, guys. We'll get something as soon as we get a long rest.
Is that what you think?
Yes.
Walk back to Bryn Shander.
Yes, we
So
start.
you guys,
We'll lie down in the snow and get a long rest.
you guys
We're,
begin
well,
the the long walk back to Bryn Shander through the cold and the snow covering the ground from the recent blizzard that kind of blew through the area. Um, and you're walking maybe about like half an hour or so, before you begin to see uh, like a large crowd of like shapes kind of approaching towards you in the distance, and you can see like this kind of like this large gathering of people that are coming in this direction, um,
Sorry.
from Bryn Shander.
okay.
No, they're coming from a completely random direction. No, it appears to be a group of people like approaching where you guys were dropped off from Bryn Shander. Um, and it doesn't really like take you long to see that there is a couple of people sort of on uh, like horses or something of like some sort of uh, like
I
riding
summoned my
animal.
bow.
Um, and out at front, and then there's a bunch of like other people. They all appear to be like mishmash quality of like armor and apparel. Um, and you kind of like recognize this as sort of like the hodgepodge militia of Bryn Shander. Um, and it maybe another like 10-15 minutes or so. Um, like you see them like and they see you, and like you all stop, and you can see Sheriff Markham at the front of this like pack of individuals. Um, and he just sort of like reins back the horse and kind of like turns it to the side. And he says, "Well, I'll be. Somehow I knew I'd find you folks here." I said,
What?
"Care to explain what the hell that thing was we saw on the horizon?"
You mean the dragon?
He says, "No, I'm talking about the other thing. Of course, the goddamn dragon."
So that's just like, right. It's a dragon, a white dragon, a big one. So it's,
Fuck, Alquil, are you not man of words? Holy shit. Why are you not an orator?
I mean, I did just tell a very good story like a few hours ago, but
He's
I'm kind of
exhausted.
exhausted at this point. Like
Exhausted his
I'm on
storytelling
1
potential.
HP, and used my story to add. Yeah, so it's like the big one. Giants are dead. we got our asses kicked. Dragon killed them. One of them is, and I point in the direction that we used to be in, like a few miles that way. Our sled was destroyed. I couldn't bring you the head. Sorry. And I start walking.
Yeah, so he sort of kind of like nods, motions forward to a couple of what look like sort of the like lighter, like leather armored, bow wielding members of the militia. Like clearly exchanges some words with them, and they like head off in the direction that you pointed.
Yeah.
And then he sort of like pulls around beside you, and he says, "Seems like an awful lot happened." And he says, "You got a lot to explain. First and foremost, let's get back to town. You lot look like you've been in the shit."
Yeah. You could say that, yeah.
And yeah, he like whistles, and a few more like people come to basically like help escort you back to town. Um, yeah, and you arrive at the town gates, and he kind of like shows you through. I suppose like first and foremost, he's just gonna be like says, "Why don't we head over to the office and you can just give me the lowdown on what happened. I won't keep you long. You look like you folks could use some good rest and relaxation, as it were. But I do need to know the details of what happened."
Of course.
Yeah, so he leads you down through the main road into like the central markets, and then over towards like the town hall of the city, and like kind of up towards his office. Enters inside, tells the guard to like piss off and go do something else useful, and yeah, like
Pretty much
sits down, and he says, "So, tell me, what happened out there exactly? Why is it that you were in the company of that big fuck off dragon?"
That's the end at the end of the story. But to start at the beginning, we left Prince Shander in pursuit of the giants. We found the giant tracks. Once we reached the end of said giant tracks, or the end of one of them, more correctly, they seem to have split up a little. We found that the giant was in the middle of fighting a big white dragon, the one you saw earlier, who proceeded to freeze him into a chunk of ice and then started to eat him. Though only partially before she turned her attention over towards us, having noticed that we were also at fighting the giant. She introduced herself as I think Alquil would remember the name, but Ford doesn't remember the name.
It was Arveatres was like the actual name.
Yeah, Arviatrius. She claims dominion over the Icewind Dales, amongst other things, the Sea of Moving Ice, like the entirety of the North, essentially. Claims that the giants were intruding on her territory. She was pissed off, but was willing to, because she was tired, I guess, she was willing to leave the killing the other giants to us in exchange for not eating us. So we set up a camp because it was late during the night, rested until the morning, picked up the tracks again. The blizzard came in. During said blizzard, the other frost giant must have realized we were on his trail because he set up an ambush, attacked us. Chaos ensued. Alexei disappeared, and who knows whatever happened to her. And me and Lucas almost died. We were able to hide away in the snow, like barely, and then the frost giant was threatened us to not follow it anymore and said that he was going to leave, and then he left. Then we decided, then we took shelter for the blizzard. Once the blizzard passed, the trail was gone. There was no way for us to keep tracking it. We decided to look for Alexei. We managed to find Alexei. And then the dragon showed up, dropped the other giant onto us, and then was kind of angry because we hadn't done our job. So she took us up to her lair up in the Sea of the Moving Ice, asked us to tell her stories. So we basically just told her our life stories. seems somewhat satisfied about that. Wondered if we knew anything, what we knew about the giants. Then asked us what we were thinking about doing about the giants. We said we're going to go and, make sure the giants aren't coming back. Satisfied with that, she decided to drop us back off here. I don't know how we lived. I honestly don't know how we survived.
But we did.
He says, well, I'll be. It was some other sorry sods that came walking into my office telling me that tale. I would have told him to piss off and lay off the drink for a while, but he says, for some reason I believe your goddamn crazy story. I said, met with a dragon and lived, huh? Not a tale
Yeah.
many men could tell, especially one that huge. I said we could see it coming from miles off. He says,
Yeah, I don't know. I thought we were dead, honestly.
yeah, he sort of like he like stands up and kind of like looks out the window onto the out to like the open market square, and he says, well, he says, don't you worry about not being able to bring me the heads. He says I was in a bit of a different headspace yesterday. He says I realized that it's not gonna fix anything. He says for the time being, we've just gotta buckle down and weather through the hard times like we always do. He says I thank you for at least putting in the effort to go and finish the job, as it were. Says,
Well, I'm not sure the job is finished if what the dragon told us is right and what some other sources within the city I've talked to about news from elsewhere says. It seems the giants are rampaging everywhere. Says they've now started moving around, not just in the Dales, but like south of here. And it's not just the frost giants either. It's all the giants: hill, flame, stone, maybe even like the others. Says.
says, is that so? Well, I won't ask where you heard this from, but sounds like the world's turned on its head. Said, said,
Yes.
you think they'll be coming back here?
Maybe, says. But perhaps maybe not, says. The frost giants, as far as I understand, they're after a man named Arthur Simber. Remember, I mentioned him earlier that the frost giant was asking for him. I've done some digging, and it turns out this Arthur Simber is a man who appears to be in possession of a specific ring. Have you ever heard of the Ring of Winter?
Not a lick.
It's apparently a very powerful magical artifact. One that, while wearing it, apparently stops the flow of time for the wearer so they don't age. But that's just one of its weakest powers, according to what the dragon told us and what's information I was able to dig up. So, the giants, apparently, if they were to get their hands on it, they would be able to do something very terrible with it. The dragon theorized that they could start a endless winter. And the way they have been tracking that is that they're trying to get to Arthur Simber, and they're using this. And I dig out the bloodstone from my pouch.
The Bloodstone.
Yes. This bloodstone, bluestone, it as you can see, it's made by black ice. God knows how the giants have gotten that. They've had few pieces. I'm not sure if you noticed, but the other giants had like wolf figurines as well. But this one in particular has the blood of supposedly the blood of Arthur Simba, and by using it, you would be able to it would point towards the closest source of the blood of Arthur Simba. However, that source need not be Arthur Simba himself; it could also be a relative of his. And that's what led him to Bryn Shander, he said. The person this stone points towards right now have been informed, and we were, if he hasn't already, he was going to leave to go south to Waterdeep. I personally think as well that as long as the Giants are seek that this Ring of Winter is bad news, like they might not come back to the Icewind Dales seeking it now that the person who this pointed towards is no longer gonna be here. But they still are gonna seek the Ring of Winter. And if they find it, well, that's gonna be a problem for everyone.
Said, yeah, I'd hate to see what those soft-blooded folks down south would do if an endless winter came and struck them. Says, well, shit. I think this is all a little bit over my pay grade.
You might be right, he says. However, the fastest way to fix this, I think, is to find the Ring of Winter and make sure it's safe. And to that effect, I personally was thinking of joining this man the stone points towards and go south to Waterdeep with him. See if there's that Waterdeep is supposed to be a place filled with powerful folks, not just fancy nobles, but also powerful wizards. I gesture towards Alexei. After all, Alexei here is the most powerful spellcaster I've yet to see, and she's but an apprentice, apparently.
I sparkle.
He sort of
I
like
take offense.
he sort of he sort of nods and he's like, Waterdeep, huh? I've heard of the place. Duvessa spoke highly of it. Said she had some family or something from there.
It's a great city.
Yeah,
I
I'm sure
was
it
not
is,
aware.
but this here's my home, and I'd prefer this place to any other. He says,
I know.
well, I suppose I'll just keep doing what I've been doing and protecting this fair city from whatever would dare assault it. He said, I'll leave the saving the world to heroes.
I nod and says like, yeah, the Icewind Dales is. I agree with you with the sentiment of the Icewind Dales being better than any other place, but as long as it might be in danger, I feel like I can't just leave it be. So even if there's not much I feel I can do, I realize that, but even something as simple as escorting a man safely down south, I feel I can do that.
He says, I'm sure you can, Elquill. I'm sure you can do a lot more than you think you can, but for the meantime, he says, we owe you a whole lot. You and your group of friends here. You've done a lot for us in the last decade or so. Back with that ice witch and the black ice and these giants now. He says, if there's anything I can do to help, he says, just name it and I'll see what I can do. He says, we're really gonna miss you here, but he says, if you think that saving this place is gonna take leaving it, I ain't gonna stop you.
Well, it needs transportation.
He says,
Not sure if anyone is willing to part with their horses or anything, but if you have any.
he says, I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can talk with some of the merchant caravans. See if you can hitch a ride with one of them.
That sounds good. Otherwise, there's nothing I can think of at the moment. I turn towards the other three people in the room and look at them, and
Literally sitting in a chair, if there was one, and just eyes closed.
yeah, and that's like I look towards Lucas, who's like has his eyes closed. I look towards Alexa and says like, "You came here for like a reason." It says,
To investigate the message we got from the Dales. Although, I
right.
think given what we've learned about the Giants, that question has been answered.
You think?
And she says, well, I can't imagine what else would have been sent my way. It's definitely involved the black ice, and that was one of the tokens sent with the letter.
True enough, I says. Yeah, but you never met with your contact, did you?
I wasn't given a contact, I was just sent to investigate. Honestly, I don't know who sent the message. She shrugs.
Right.
We
Well,
have to find out by staying here.
says. Right. So I thought it would be rude to ask if you've had business, but you've made the trip at least twice before. It says.
Yes.
Yes. Would you be willing to join me and down to Waterdeep?
Of course, she says. We're friends, after all.
Huckwell sort of like thinks for a moment about that and then sort of nods with a.
Oh no, she's right. We are. No.
with a like, okay, yeah, that is probably right. And then looks towards Nibelung, since Lucas is still eyes closed, and is like, and what about you, Master Nibelung?
Hey, we didn't get your backstory. Why are you here? Tell us right
He
now.
totally
As
did.
if the dragon.
Told you for a
As if,
session.
as
Yeah,
if the
he-
dragon was with you.
he had a like a vision of something.
But we also need to know your tragic backstory.
He told his tragic backstory.
Oh, fine. Fuck.
Fuck you.
Fire
Nature
giants
is in
destroyed his home.
unbalance.
Yeah.
Well.
It's not
And it-
tragic enough.
Your whole everyone you liked and cared for didn't die like Lucas, so
Listen, guys, this isn't
Well,
like
I,
a contest to see who could have the most edgy backstory and cut themselves the most.
are you saying this isn't like a 2008 edgy emo forum posting?
Anyway, what is Nibelung saying?
well, it seems all my current predicaments have to do with the in some way stop them.
You're cutting out a little bit.
You know, you said that a little bit in the Al Quill voice, so I thought that was in character for a moment.
You're cutting out the Nibelung.
Look, your signal.
A different plane.
Yes.
Basically, my all the predicaments I have rotates around the. So I think if helping this will be giant, I'll come with you.
I nod. Just like, excellent. And then I clasp Lucas on the shoulder. To like see if he wakes up.
It just
So,
I don't know. Was I able to get to sleep, Brad?
No.
Damn it! I opened up my one not dragon eye.
look at him and what about you, little dragon?
I opened up
Oh, yeah.
both eyes and stared daggers at him.
Alexia looks at your dragon eye. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And I look at him and it's like, have you done what you came to the Dales to do, or will this be our parting?
I look inside myself. Like, I was like, if you're not gonna tell me what I need, I'm leaving. Like, I'm good to leave.
All right. He says, "You want to join us down south, or going to
If we're all
Waterdeep?"
traveling in the same direction, we can travel together.
Excellent,
Yay.
excellent. All right, and I turn towards Sheriff Markham. Well, if the other three has, can't think of anything right now that we could need for you other than just a way, other than transportation. If the other three has anything, I'm sure they'll tell you. I'm tired. I'm going to see if Kagan's rest. If Kagan's rest is actually still up and running, or if the boulder leveled into the ground.
He says, well, if I know anything about that Flamebeard fella, well, he would keep running if all he had left was the stable shack. And he'd charge you out the leg for it, too.
Ah, shit. I guess I'll go to that. What's the name of that other place? It was the this
There's
place that's over.
the Gelden Stag's Rest.
Yeah, Gelvin Stag's Rest. I guess I'll go to the Gelvin Stag's Rest then instead. That was pretty whole last time I checked.
Sort of, nods. Says, well, let me know if you need anything before y'all head out. He says, have a good night's rest. I think you lot deserve it.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheriff. And I will exit the room and exit the building. And the moment I'm out of the building, I am going to use this.
Okay.
Figure out if he's still
So you
here.
kind of like hold the stone and again, like feel it sort of like syncing with your heartbeat,
Yeah.
and pulling you, and like just based on the direction, and the distance, you could tell he's definitely like still in town,
Yeah.
somewhere to the like western edge of town, um, like
Okay.
here-ish.
All right. I'm gonna say like if the others followed me out, I'm gonna say like, I'm gonna look for Cyrac. Tell him that we're also gonna go head down to Waterdeep, so we can ask him if he wants us to join him. Then I'm gonna go to the Hound's Rest, Stag's Rest. So, obviously, you're free to do whatever you want. And I'll start walking towards the place that the stone is showing me.
Sure thing. Yeah, you head
Yep.
you head in that direction. Takes maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. Before you walk up and you could feel the stone pulling you. You are outside what looks like a small, very like simple, plain stone temple building. Nothing like crazy about it. You can see sort of on the uh, like just above the double doors that lead in, the like symbol of Torm, sort of etched into the stone. Um, it doesn't really look like a it's not a large like temple, it's just like a small kind of deal, but the doors are like slightly open, and you can see light coming from inside. Somebody is like clearly there, um, so I assume you just kind of
I'm gonna walk in.
okay, yeah, so you walk
Step
up,
inside.
pushing one of the doors in. It kind of like creaks heavily on old hinges as you step inside, and you can see sort of like kneeling there at this like sort of simple stone altar, um, the form of Sirik. You can see he has this sort of like large kind of like backpack on his back. It looks very typical of somebody who has like never traveled long distances before and has packed way too much fucking stuff. Um,
Yeah.
like he's carrying his whole home on his back. Um, and um,
Right.
and you can see he's got like rope hanging off and like pots and pans and all sorts of like just superfluous stuff. And you can see he has this like like a locket of some sort, kind of like clutched in one hand. And as you're entering, he like hears the sound and like stands up. And he says, I am sorry to inform you, but this temple is going to be closed for some time. And he turns and he says, "Oh, it's you." He says,
Hi. I was like, yes, greetings. I say, it is indeed I. I sort of like walk in, lean in towards like I don't know a wall or a pillar, depending on whatever there might be here. Sort of just to keep myself stationed. It's like we returned. The giants are dead, but they might come back. Says others, I mean. Situation has changed a lot. I don't really have the energy to explain too much, but both me and all the others are going to head down south to Waterdeep. We were wondering, since you mentioned you were going to go to Waterdeep as well, if you would like to accompany.
and yeah, so he sort of like looks you over, and you can see like all of your injuries, and he kind of like rushes over to you, kind of like placing a hand on your shoulder and like leading you over towards one of the like simple like wooden pews. And he says, "Oh, please sit down, sit down." He says, "Allow me to at least minister some of your wounds." He's gonna go ahead and cast like a second level cure wounds on you
Oh shit!
for 6. So you're feeling a little bit better. Um,
I mean, that's 6 times the times
times more than
health.
what you have. Um,
Yeah.
and he says, "Yes, I imagine that the giants will not cease their assaults so long as I yet reside here, which is why I am closing up this little temple. I have already sent word to the Order about the predicament. I have left out some key details, did not wish to stir up too much fear, but have given enough reason as to why I need to quit my position for the time being." He says, "As for whether or not I'd like to join you, well, he says, it would certainly be a great deal of weight off of my back to know that I have strong individuals such as yourselves guiding me. I fear that if I were to run into one of my pursuers on my own, I would not live to tell the tale, especially considering that I do not know what they want me to know. I fear that it would not let me live long."
I nod, and I also like clasp that backpack on him. Says, especially if you're carrying this much weight on your back, he says, you'd definitely not be able to outrun them. I say.
He says,
Uh,
he kind of like strains to like lift the backpack with one shoulder, and he says, "Oh, but these are the burdens I must carry. I just cannot leave any of this behind. It is all important to my duties." And um,
I nod. Like the sheriff is fixing us transportation. He says. He does not know like that you are the one who needs to leave, and I told him about why the giants came, but I didn't tell him who it was that they were after. So,
he says, he like nods and says, I thank you. The less people that know the truth about my father, the better, I think."
nod. Says, well, I couldn't just leave the sheriff without any information, so I figured it was right for him to know why the town was attacked. Says, but he's gonna fix his transportation, says, and hopefully a mount. So hopefully it'll be you wouldn't be as heavy burden. Hopefully we'll get a carrot or something.
Sort of like nods and says, "Well, that would certainly be nice, but even if he cannot, I will carry these burdens as long as I must."
All right, say it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be a long trip. I'm gonna go to the Stag's Rest. I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. We'll meet in the morning.
Says, "Very well. Where would you like to meet? Do you know? I assume if you're leaving, you're going to be meeting at the southwest gate."
Yes.
He said, "Very well. I will meet you there in the morning." He says,
Very well.
"I still have a few things to tend to, people to make aware of the church's predicament." Um,
And nod.
he says,
Very well. I'll leave you to it then. And I stand back up and says, and thank you for the healing. And then I will walk off. See you tomorrow.
says, "See you on the morrow, Elquil." And yeah, he turns back to the altar and like begins like sort of contemplative prayer.
Yeah. I close the door as I leave.
All right. You close the door and presumably go to meet up with the rest at the Gelvenstag's rest.
Mhm. Yeah, presumably. I don't know what the others are doing.
That is assuming the others haven't fucked off somewhere else. I mean, where is everybody else going?
I want to try to find a vendor to sell these wolf figurines to, or at least acquire for a price.
Oh yeah, the Black Ice Wolf figurines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so there's like like when you exit the town hall, there's basically like this big sort of open market square right there with all sorts of different stalls. A lot of it's sort of like people selling like food. There's a lot of like uh, people selling like warm beverages and like hot food and all that kind of stuff. But there's also like armor and jewelry and it's sort of this mishmash of uh, like cultures here like mixing in this one central marketplace. So you could probably find someone that's like dealing in um, like statues or something of the like. Obviously,
No Bibles.
their business doesn't get a whole lot of attention in the market, but they they exist somewhere.
All right, I walk up to.
Yeah, so you walk up and you can see it appears to be this probably like an Omnian gentleman. He's wearing like fur-lined versions of sort of typical like Kalimshan sort of dress. So like from the far south. Think kind of like almost like Middle Eastern in appearance, but like lined with furs, so it's better protection in the cold. Um, and he sees you. You're carrying this like statuette or whatever. Um, and he says, my friend, that is quite the thing that you have there." And he says, "Is there any way I could help you?" Um,
Yes, I was hoping to Earth. I've recently found them on our journeys.
he says, "Is that so? Is that so? Come, set it down. Let me take a look. You say you're looking to sell, or
Yes.
He says, "I see, I see," and he kind of like you set it down, and he begins to kind of like look it over. He says, very fine craftsmanship." He says, "So whoever sculpted this," and he kind of like puts a hand on it. "Oh, it's cold, some sort of ice. Never seen ice of this color." He says, "Well, whoever crafted this, you can barely even see the marks where they chiseled away at this material." He says, "I do not even know what you would call it." He says, "The exquisite, the subject matter is not entirely impressive, but well constructed." Um, and yeah, he says, "I believe I could perhaps give you about." He says, "I think the most I could probably do on it is 20 gold." He says, "It is a strange item. I would not be able to sell it far from here, given that it seems to be made from ice. It would melt anywhere else, so it is useless at my home. Um, says, but it is well constructed. I am sure I could find somebody who could purchase such a thing.
I know that these are black ice, right? I think that was mentioned by the party.
Yeah, you've like heard the term from them, but you aren't quite sure like what that means because you weren't really like.
I wouldn't know that it's like specialized. Would this kind of ice melt in a different climate, or is it like the magic makes it?
I mean, honestly, you don't really know. Um, I think
Okay.
they did mention something like they mentioned something about bringing it to a forge to melt, which seemed a little bit strange because like surely you could just put it by like a flame and it would like melt away. Like why would they need a forge to do that? But other than that, you don't really know a whole lot about it. They didn't really like sit down and like give you the, hey dude, here's everything we know about black ice and
Yeah, then form a forge. I see you.
Yes.
You make it sound very rare, though. Oh, I think I'll hold on to it for now. Should I not find anything new about it, I'll see what we can do.
he says, certainly, he says, I will be here a few days yet before I head back to the south. If you are still interested in selling it.
God.
Where to the south are you heading?
And he says, oh, quite a ways, quite a ways. Back to my home. I have obtained many wares and wish to trade them back home. He says, such is the life of a merchant. Always traveling hither and seeking
It's
to
not
make a
that bad.
profit.
Okay, so it's not.
Indeed. Well, I thank you for the information, and your patron later on.
He sort of like nods and says, well, good day to you, sir.
To you.
Yeah, and you can see he like quickly like seeing that you've no business like turns to the next like customer and like begins like shouting at people like fine Omnian craft, come take a look, and you know like clearly like quite quickly like forgets about you, um and moves on to the next bit of business.
Not
Um,
worth his time.
Fucking
Then I'll
hell,
just
we're not
head back to the inn then, or back to head to the inn.
fucking Nibble. We're gonna spread the corruption down south where they don't know how to deal with it.
I don't know about that. I'm just
Fair,
I'm
we
pretty
didn't
s-
explain anything to him.
I'm pretty sure we mentioned like the because he asked like I know somebody asked what is black ice, and I'm pretty sure we explained that like it corrupts people. It's like it brings out the darkest part of them.
Wasn't in
maybe it
character,
did.
probably.
I recognize it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Nibbling, that is.
Nibble was like, "What is this black ice?" And like looks into it like, "Oh, I
He said,
Good
the
child.
first thing you said was something about value, and then I just drifted off in my daydreams. Everything else was just a fuzz.
Yeah.
Like, value, and it kills everyone, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it corrupts people so will make you evil."
Money, you say?
Wow, a druid who
What?
cares about money.
What?
What kind of druid are you?
Man, I need capital to acquire, to accomplish my goals.
All right. So, are Lucas and Alexa getting up to anything, or are they just heading to the inn?
I would like to try to sell something as well, if possible, in this wrecked economy that's probably horrible at the moment. I have these like I think it's like 7 giant helm gems.
Yeah, I believe so.
How,
wanna
how
go,
is a half elf carrying 7 giant-sized helmets?
He's
Giant
not.
helm gems.
He's
Gems.
carrying
I
no
also
shit.
have a bag of
Sound
holding.
like helms.
I have a bag of holding as well.
Yeah. Okay, carry on.
So yeah, I'm gonna go try to get them appraised and sell if possible.
Sure, I think you can find like a gem dealer or something. Um, yeah, so they like you'd like take them. There is a um, so you asked to get them like appraised or whatever.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's how I'm gonna figure out the price of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they say, of course, I would love to appraise them. There is, of course, a small fee for such a thing, a paltry sum, 5 gold, and I will take a look at all of them and tell you what they are worth.
Sure.
All right, so you like hand over the 5 gold, and you hand over the gems, and the merchant begins to look over them. Says, yes, yes, it's such a fine white ivory. Like takes out like a magnifying glass and starts like looking them over. Um, Remarkably free of imperfections. And said whoever cut these gems did a marvelous job. They are nearly perfect spheres. They appear to be some sort of pearl. It looks like. He says, well, I imagine if you were to trade them to someone at value, one of these could net you about 100 gold. They all appear to be about the same quality in the craftsmanship.
So 100 gold a piece.
Sort of like a nods. He says, were you looking to sell them? I would, of course, love to take them off your hands. I could think of many great things that I could create with these that, well, could easily make that money back.
I am indeed looking to sell them.
He says, very well. All 7 of them.
Yes.
He says, very well. Then I will give you 700 gold for the lot. They're
I want to
exact.
insight this to make sure he's not lowballing me.
The dragon
Sure.
senses.
Go ahead and
Always got a fucking insight for
roll,
lowballs.
roll your insight check.
Roll one. Roll
Roll,
one.
one.
Roll
No.
Ah.
Yeah, so you like get a look, and I mean you don't know a whole lot about like gem value and appraisal, but you do know a bit about like reading people and when they're trying to like get one over on you. And it doesn't really like seem like he's being like sleazy or trying to like lowball you or anything. You get the feeling like he's giving you like a fair market value on them.
But he's a dragon. You should have instinct for these things.
Yeah, that's how my instinct pops in. It's like my dragon patron looking at me is like he's fucking lying. You get that feeling. He's like, what? Who dares lies?
He's
This
stroking
affects
his
him
golden
and his
hoard.
treasure. 700 gold. He said.
Yep.
All right, I'll sell him for 700 gold.
Nice.
All right. He says, wait here a moment. You can see he kind of like goes into the back of this shop and comes out like a few moments later with this little like steel lockbox. And he like kind of opens it up, and you can see there's a number of like different coin inside. He starts like counting it out. See these sort of like silvery-ish metal coins, platinum coins. You would recognize them as. He begins counting them out, counts out 70 of them, and sort of like slides them across to you, and like puts out a hand for the gems.
So you gave me like what, 70 platinum, or was
Yep.
it, or what was it, 70 plat?
70 platinum coins,
Okay.
700 gold.
Yeah, slide it over.
All right, so you slide over the gems. He takes them, like looks at them, and says, "Thank you for your patronage, sir." He says, Was
It
there
was a
anything
pleasure.
else you were looking to sell, or perhaps I could interest you in some of my fine jewelry?" He says, "You look of a man who appreciates the finer crafts."
Let me. What do I have in my book? I have this sizable book. I remember that book. That's when we broke into that one guy's house and I stole it from his desk. It's just like a ledger book. I have the blue book marked with the oral star for some reason. Engineers, Black Focus, Broken Sword Hill, Common Clothes, Pet Mouse, Blackjack. I don't think he wants Blackjack. I'm assuming at this point I found another cloth to cover my eye.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take off like a silver, say like, hey, I bought one. It's very fine for a silver piece. I'll lift it up and I'll look at all the jewelry. Does anything catch his eye?
I mean, looking it over, it all seems to be like pretty well made, but I mean, it's not anything you couldn't find in any other city. None of it's like one of a kind or
Nothing,
special in any
nothing
way.
unique,
No,
which
there's.
is what he likes. She likes unique. No, I think I'm good today, sir. Thank you for your business. I was really worried I wouldn't be able to find someone willing to buy those with recent events.
He says, oh well, I assure you, there are always those looking to buy and trade, regardless of the times. He says, I wish you the best of luck in the future. If you should find any more specimens such as these, do not hesitate to stop by. Says,
Keep
kind of
that in
gives
mind,
you
good sir.
a wide grin. It says, be seeing you then. Um, and continues to like what he was doing, like polishing some display case or something.
God, it feels good to be fucking rich. I'll head out and I'll just peruse the town and the market, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I mean it's a market's full of like all sorts of random stuff. Um,
Is there any place about magic shit in this town?
not in this town,
Didn't
no.
think so.
Um,
Had to
it
ask.
would need to be a much larger like metropolitan
Yeah,
city to
shit's deep.
find something like that. Um,
All right,
no, yeah,
then I'll just look around, have
yeah. There's
myself
some
a
people
time.
there's some people selling interesting things. You find like one like cart vendor who's like selling like smoked sausages coated in caramel, which just like sounds kind of like weird. Um, but
It's very surprising that this town is so bustling and still like selling shit like this, even though all this shit just happened. Like, was it this morning?
Yesterday.
it was like
It was
yesterday.
yesterday
Yeah.
morning. Yeah, like it's crazy. Like the bounce back of this place is real. It's just very shocking.
Yes, indeed. But you spend some time perusing the markets, not really finding anything of any like real value or interest.
Actually,
I assume everybody will meet back up at the inn later in the day.
what armor am I wearing? I'm wearing leather, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna head out over to the inn afterwards.
Sure.
Where is the armor in this goddamn book? I can wear medium armor. I could buy half plate, guys.
You're not gonna find half plate here.
It would only increase my AC by fucking 1.
Might save you.
Well, if you are looking to make any purchases or buy anything, we can take care of that like later. um,
Yeah, we're good.
um,
I don't want to buy anything. I'm good.
uh, so, you guys all meet up back at the inn for the night. Uh, through word down the grapevine, your rooms for the night have been paid for, so you don't have to worry about that. Um, and yeah, unless anybody wants to do anything like crazy overnight, we can just go ahead and skip off to the end of the long rest and the following day. Dawn sort of like rises early, as it does this time of year, um, and you can hear the
Oh
like
yes.
tolling of temple bells across the city, signaling
So,
the beginning of morning.
goodbye, Shield of Fate. Hello, fine steed.
rip, rip, shield of
Ah.
fate.
Thunderous Smite, Searing Smite, Thundering Smite off, Searing Smite on.
So,
Yeah, this looks
4th
good.
of Mirtul.
Hmm?
Nothing, just updating the date.
Yes. And in the morning, I'll just quickly, like, perhaps even before dawn, like wake up early and go like out of the town, past the east gate if possible, and well, like out in the like a little bit out in the wilderness. I shall cast Finds Teeth, and
Hopefully, you have that elk token ready.
it'll be a fey creature, I imagine, or a celestial, one of those. I'll leave it up to the DM's discretion what actually shows up.
All right, so you head out and like begin to conduct this sort of almost like ritual to conjure forth this steed. You find like a copse of trees or something to like meditate in, and as you're sort of like focusing, you can like hear the wind blowing through the branches around you. Um, Birds sort of chirping in the early morning, and you become like acutely aware of like nature around you, and all of the life that it harbors. Um, and then you feel like a presence like behind you, uh, like um, like a hand on your shoulder. Um, and you like sort of awaken and like turn back. There's nobody standing there, but you can see at the edge of the clearing this sort of like large, majestic, sort of silvery coated um, elk, sort of grazing on some of the like rough grasses that have managed to like grow despite the harsh conditions. And it sort of like looks up towards you, and you sense this like deep sort of connection um, between you and it. And
Yes,
we
Squire
are going to
Lindstrom,
say it is a celestial creature.
celestial. All right. So, celestial elk which has been sent to me by my god, Kvarnrod Windstrom. So I will slowly approach it, um, get out perhaps some food I have, pieces of bread or whatever, and like hold it out and like let it see if it wants to eat from like my hand as I also pet it.
Yeah, you sort of like hold out some like food, and it does like begin to like eat out of your hand, and kind of like nuzzles against you as you're like petting it.
Yes, and I nod and say, "Well," and I say like, "What's your name, friend?"
Um,
And
Eve.
Mhm.
Steve, the celestial elk.
Steve. Well, it uh, yeah.
I
So
know it
you
doesn't
can
speak, but
communicate.
it can
It doesn't
telepath.
speak to you, but it can communicate telepathically.
Yeah.
And it says you get this sort of like feeling, and it says my name is Windstrider.
It says, "Pleasure to meet you, Windstrider." He says, "I have a long road ahead of me." He says, "and would be honored if you would be willing to join me."
He says you got like the elk kind of like bows its head, and you can like hear this voice in the back of your head. It says I will follow you to the ends of the earth, Alquil.
I bow back, and that's just like, ah, I'm very honored. He says, and may Quaidon Windstrom watch over us both as we proceed. He says, and I'll get up on him and ride him back into town.
Very well. You get some odd looks um, from the guards as you like stride through the gates, but they like recognize you, and they're not gonna like stop you. They just kind of like some of them like point and kind of be like, well, "What's up with that?" But yeah, you ride back to the inn. This is probably about the time everybody else is like waking up.
Mhm.
And C is controlled by Alquil. All right, and yeah, so everybody is up, and I don't know, you're probably all in like the common room, um, and you can just see like this like uh large figure of Alquil astride to this like sort of like silvery maned elk, like stride by the window outside, and like kind of Alquil like dismounts from it, um, and like begins walking towards the door, and you can like see him through the windows. What is everybody
I'm
else up
still
to?
asleep. I'm still asleep.
No, you're awake.
What? You can't tell me to wake up.
Yeah, I can.
You're not my mom.
Yeah, I
I mean,
can.
he can tell you to wake up and like have this like of like you try to like roll over and sleep more, but you can't. You feel you don't you sleep
I'm
doesn't
laying in
find it.
bed, do nothing.
Get up, you lazy bum.
Fine, I get up and have my breakfast.
All
The
right, so you
Alco
all
walks
meet
in
up.
through the door.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
just go, hey, Alco, is
Alquil, why are you riding an elk?
And he says, "That is Windstrider." He says, "He has been sent by Gueron Windstrom to aid me. I think Gueron has been pleased with my dedication to our mission."
And so you have an elk now.
Yes.
one for the rest of us?
No.
Do we get elks as well?
Man,
That's
it's
not
gonna
how
have
it
to suck
works.
to walk for you guys.
So no, I have there was only the one Windstrider.
So should we go to the sheriff and see what what kind of transport he fixed us?
Yes, let us.
All right, so you guys head to the sheriff's office.
Yep.
All right, you arrive there, and it's pretty early in the morning still, so there's not a whole lot of people around, and yeah, one of the uh, like one of the guards sort of like tells you to wait a moment, and then comes back and kind of like leads you up to Sheriff Markham's office. Um, and you all enter. And the sheriff sort of says, "Hope y'all got a good night's rest." He says, "What is it I can do for you?"
Well, we came to inquire as to what kind of transport we managed to, if you did. Seems at least two of our party members have mounts of their own. We could use at least one more, maybe.
A cart or
Cart.
something.
Yes.
I mean, one of you's a gnome. I think you're a gnome, right?
It's
Or
a
you have-
halfling. It's a
Okay.
halfling.
I always fucking forget. You're halfling, and we could
We'll
probably
kill
fit
you.
two to
So
a mount.
racist, that.
Why would you? Yes, but we'll be 5 people traveling, I say.
Oh yes, Eric. I wasn't there for that part.
I say. This is like if you have and one of us is carrying a lot of luggage. If you have a cart, that would be most appreciated.
He says,
Doesn't need to be big.
he says, well, he says, fortunately there wasn't any caravans heading south I could find. Says, tell you what, and he kind of like motions over towards one of the guards. Says, I think we've got a few wagons in storage. Says, why don't you give these fine folks uh, one of them, and Send them on their way. And the guard sort of like nods. Says, there's a little storage depot down by the south gate. We keep a few carts and wagons there just in the off case we need them for an emergency. Need to evacuate the town or something. Says, have your pick of them. They're all about the same.
Sounds.
I point and say, choose. I want that one.
Yeah, we're it's like thank you so much. We will head over there and have a look at them. Says, do you have enough food? Just quickly, do we have like how much food is everyone has everyone?
You're a trapper. Can't you do it yourself and get us food?
I could. I was just like I have 6 days. Of
I can get us
rations.
food.
Oh,
Okay,
maybe
good.
we should prepare some food then, just in case.
Should I keep? So should I keep the bloodstone or should I have him destroy it, guys? What do you think?
Will
Do
it
we
ever
still
come
need
in
it?
handy?
Well, we're traveling with Sirak, so it's like it's basically gonna be like, hey, where's Sirak?
I mean,
Guy-
do we want to make sure we don't lose Sirik?
I suppose that's a good idea. Yeah.
Also, I have this bag of holding if anyone needs anything held that's too girthy or weighty.
Nah, I'm
And
good.
you said Gurf.
Fuck! My harp of illusions. I don't have 200 gold. I'll never get it back.
Damn. Sucks for you.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Your
So,
food, I can literally feed us each day.
Oh, we're good then.
okay, we're good then. There's no place to buy potions of healings, are there?
Not really.
Not that. No, not yeah. All right, then. I don't think we have anything else that we need. So let us be off, guys. Let's go to the south gate and find ourselves a cart. Pick up Zurich.
All
Off
right.
we
Well,
go.
so you guys begin to head over towards the southern gate of town.
Yeah.
Towards the building that Sheriff Markham described to you. Doesn't take you long to find. There is basically this sort of like large kind of like warehouse building almost. That you can see there are a few guards kind of like standing nearby. And yeah, you sort of like introduce yourselves, explain the situation to them. Um, and yeah, they sort of open the doors, and you can see there's maybe like a dozen or so like carts and wagons, all sort of around the same kind of like general size. Um, and they will let you sort of take one for your use. Um,
Alright.
they're all able to fit about like they're able to be drawn by one like mount or two, depending, and they're all able to fit somewhere between like 4 to 6 people, if there's nothing like in them.
All right. Let's just take one. Let's just pick one we like. They're all the same as far as I
Is there
understand.
one painted with red flames?
Yeah, are any of them colored differently?
If one of them red, red goes faster.
I mean, you could paint it a different color
Which one
if
has
you wanted
stripes?
to, but they're all basically the same.
We
Press
gotta choose
indication.
correctly here because this cart will last us the entire.
I mean,
definitely.
listen. We have a wizard. I think the wizard has prestidigitation. We can get it in literally any color we want.
This wizard does not have prestidigitation.
Shitty
Wow.
wizard. What kind of wizard are you?
What kind of you haven't even learned the basics. Prestidigitation is it's basically like a spell to learn magic is what is like the flavor of it. It's like it's what you learn when you start that.
I forgot it after I started using spell slots. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Well, anyways.
Never mind though.
Anyways. Yeah, so you guys pick a cart. You pick the best cart there. Boy howdy. Yeah, and so you get it hooked up. Are you gonna? Is Bella gonna draw it, or is Windstrider gonna draw it?
This is where me and Malcolm look at each other.
I mean, he said it could be like
Yeah,
pulled by.
both.
Yeah,
We found with both.
yeah, we should
Both?
do. We could do both.
All right,
Sure.
we'll do both.
We'll do both. The alchemist
Like,
is going to be good friends.
The elk and the horse. All right,
I
so
didn't
you
know
like.
if Alquill was gonna be all high and mighty on his elk. You're like, this is an elk from the gods. It can't be demeaned by pulling a wagon.
Well, I was actually just I was just asking, are you fine with pulling a wagon?
Yeah, I mean, like the elk's just like he'll do anything that you tell him to.
It's almost like
This man's from the gods gonna be to me like a wagon.
Oh, well, we can snap both to it. You know, make it easy for him.
Alquill has never come across as that anal, Zach. Come
I'm not saying him. I'm saying the elk might be.
on.
I mean, it is a creature with its own will. Sort
Look,
of.
it's fine pulling the car. Let's
Oh,
just
yeah,
give it
sure
that.
will.
But as far
It's
as I
like,
know, it's
It's like Philo. It loves pulling carts.
Oh yeah, Philo, best girl.
I don't know who Philo is.
That's because you're not cultured for it.
Some weird anime lolly that turns
Yeah.
into chicken.
Excuse me, it's the
Excuse
best
me?
anime lolly, and let's not, get.
I'm
into
sorry,
that.
James. You change who's the best anime lolly like every other week.
Sorry, I'm adaptable for her,
Listen,
okay?
she's the best giant like dodo bird that turns into a little girl sometimes of all
Dojo
time.
bird.
Okay, let's just move on. just
Oh, shield hero.
I'm
Anyways,
So good.
so you
just
guys
saying,
get the cart all hooked up, ready to go. Like throw some of your stuff in it. Obviously, like I suppose maybe like Lucas and Alquil are kind of like sitting at the front, kind of like
Yeah.
driving it.
Let's go,
And
little dragon.
Alexei and
I
Nibelung
just stared at
are
him
in
like,
the
do not call me that.
back.
We will have problems.
Oh.
I thought, sorry, I thought it was a good jest, says us, but my apologies.
I'm not a dragon.
Have you explained why you have that eye yet in character? I can't remember.
No.
No.
I mean,
No.
from the backstory, you can probably extrapolate who my like master is at this point. That is not some noble.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe you got like a Kakashi Sharingan eye replacement from your noble patron. You never know.
Sure, if that's what they want to believe, but like they know the backstory and how the dragon was always like, I know who your master is.
Yeah.
And they just call me little dragon and all that bullshit. Or y'all might think I'm a dragon in disguise, because that's also exactly what the fucking dragon said.
Yep. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, little dragon. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, so you guys head down further out towards the gate, and you can see
Yes.
now the large sort of gates that are open at the moment. It's still early in the morning, and you can see sort of still carrying this like kind of overlarge backpack. Sirik is there, kind of like looking like nervously around, and when he notices you, he begins like sort of like waving over at you.
And we wave back. I wave back to him. I shouldn't say we. I
He,
wave back to him.
He begins sort of like jogging over with some like well, I suppose like uneasiness essentially. Begins sort of like jogging your way with some difficulty. There we go. And yeah, he sort of says a little bit out of breath. He says he says it is good to see you all. He says I was he says I'll be honest, I was secretly hoping that you might accompany me for this journey. He says I see you have found a cart, if you don't mind. And he sort of like
Of course.
Hop in the back.
begins to like climb up into the back, like throwing this like backpack onto the floor of the cart, and it sort of like hits the wooden floor with this like heavy thud,
And I
and
lean
like the
over to Luke.
clattering of like metal and
I lean into Lucas and says, and this is why I wanted both to pull the wagon.
So who's
Wow.
So I don't have a horse. So I imagine I'm in the wagon. Who else is in the wagon?
Everyone's in the wagon.
Yeah, like it's just me and Lucas are up in the driver's seats, basically.
Alright,
We're
okay, cool.
and you and Nibelung and now Sirak are in the back. So I say it's like, well, yeah, it's just like, yes, I says, I was hoping it would be over with just frost giants, but the raid, but with things the way they are, says Waterdeep sounds like a good place to seek help. Let's find out how we're going to take care of this. It says. After all, Waterdeep is a place of many powerful spellcasters.
Indeed.
I hope I whispered like the last part.
Let me explain to you, Alquill. I'll lean over and whisper to him. Waterdeep goes by another name.
I know that, right? And what's that other name?
Shit's deep.
What was that?
And then I look over to that. I say, nothing. Like Lucas was just telling me about when he was in Waterdeep.
He says,
And she nods. He has come around quite a lot.
Sirik says, I stayed in Waterdeep for a time on my journey up north from Cormyr. It's a splendorous place. There is far more to see there than any one man could see in a lifetime. He says, such a magnificent place. He says, I'm sure we'll be able to find the help that we need. Um, and if not, at least protection. I doubt some giants are going to break through those walls anytime soon.
Right? He says. Well, that is good news indeed. He says. Well, I believe the journey is going to be long. I think the journey is going to be long. I turn towards Alexei. Alexei, is the journey going to be long?
Yep, it's gonna be quite long. How long does it
Alright.
take, Brad? Roughly?
Roughly, assuming you're going like in a straight line down the coast, all the way from here to Waterdeep is about a month, and
Yeah.
that's
And
like
so she'll say
by foot or wagon.
it's like a bit over a month, probably 2 months.
I like raise my eyebrows. It's like, that is far indeed, he says. Well,
Have you ever left the Dales?
the furthest south I've been is Luskan.
Nods. Well, you're gonna love Waterdeep.
I sort of shrug as it's like, I'm not sure how it's going to be much better than here. Like, I know Luskan is a rather shitty place, he says.
I whisper under my breath that like hopefully he learns to avoid the land sharks.
As it's like, what's a shark?
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Yes.
Never
Alquill,
even
so
been to
much to
Leicester.
teach you.
And I'm assuming we're just driving at this point.
Yeah. So you begin to like drive off like towards the gates, and you can see there are a few guards there, and they just kind of like stop you on your way out, and you can see up
Sheriff
above.
Markham there to see us off.
No, he was literally just there at the office. There's no way he could like teleport in front of you to the gates. But
Teleports in front of you. You think you could leap this easily?
but you do see among the guards at the gate, as usual, Augrek Brighthelm, the dwarven deputy to Sheriff Markham, who kind of like waves to you as you're like passing by. He says, I heard from Sheriff Markham that you're off on quite the journey. He says, I wish you the best of luck. He says,
Thank you. Says, we are apparently going to be traveling for at least a month, maybe two, to reach our destination.
he says,
Says,
oh my, that's quite a ways. He says, well, may the fortunes keep you safe. He says, and before you go, there is,
yes.
do you think you could, perhaps, if you're heading on the other side of the pass, do you think there's something you could do for me?
Depends on whether or not it's on the way.
He says, it might be a bit out of the way, not terribly far. I don't know exactly where you're going, but she says,
Waterdeep.
she says,
Just tell us, what is it?
he says, the sheriff, he hides it well, but he's been awfully worried lately about whether or not the town is going to be able to hold up against an attack such as we just had. Our militia is ill-trained and ill-equipped, and
Mhm.
I was hoping perhaps to seek assistance from my kin. She says, but I cannot abandon my post here. So I was hoping.
Well,
She says, I was hoping perhaps that you could speak to the dwarves at Ironmaster, and ask their assistance.
Alquill thinks for a moment, tries to like conjure up any even the vaguest memory of any like map you have seen of the lands beyond the Dale. And holy fuck, that's not a lot.
I can expand this a little bit.
What the fuck? What's this?
What is this? This is you guys don't have a real map. You guys should get a map.
Can I buy a map, Brad, before we leave?
Sure, but they're pretty expensive.
How much is a map of the Sword
100 gold.
Coast?
A map
much?
of the Sword Coast. It's a pretty big map.
Would there even be one in Bridgehander?
There probably would be, but you'd probably be basically like buying it off of like a merchant that was using it.
Mm.
Probably be like 100 gold.
Damn it, I hop off the cart. I'd be like, guys, I gotta go take care of something.
I
Be
was like,
back
what?
soon.
I'm gonna go drop 100 fucking gold on a map.
All right.
Alright.
What-
Lucas.
that's what?
What are you doing?
That's what? 10 platinum?
Yes, 10
Yeah, that's 10
platinum.
purple.
Okay. 'Cause I'm gonna just pay in fucking platinum. That way I still have
Okay.
some gold left.
You buy a map off of one of the merchants.
Like, this is gonna be a lot more important.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if I had 100 gold, I would have bought it as well. I would also been like, yeah, no, I buy it.
while they're talking, I'll like just get off and like wait at the gate for me.
All right, yes, of course.
And it probably takes me a while to find someone willing to sell their map.
He's just like,
Yeah, it takes,
I don't know.
takes maybe like half an hour or so to like find somebody in the market who like has a spare or is like is not leaving and is willing to part with theirs.
So it's just like, well, Lucas is doing that. I don't know where our own master is in comparison to where we're going. So we're going to try to go south to Waterdeep. If it's not too far off, I suppose we could.
Says well, it says if you're going down the Ten Trail through the pass, there's a fork that leads down towards the south. You do have to go a little bit past that before you reach another fork that leads up towards Ironmaster. But you won't have to go far down that path. In fact, I wouldn't really recommend it. Since my kinsfolk there, they are not as trusting as some of the other dwarves. It says they are highly protective of their territory. It says along the trail, there are warning signs, stone menhirs that have been erected. It says once you reach the first set of them, I would suggest you just stay put and wait. Someone will come to approach you.
What did she say? Once we reach a set of what? Stones?
Like stone, like markers, menhirs.
Each stone markers stay put, and someone will approach us. Okay. And
Yeah, and she says, after that, just mention my name and say that you'd like to talk to one of my kinsfolk. Um, he says, I'm sure they'll be able to find someone, and if you could just ask them to send what assistance they can. I would be greatly appreciated. I'm sure the sheriff would as well. It would go a long way to bolstering the defenses of Bryn Shander.
do you have a letter or mark or something that we could present to show that we in fact spoken to you? You just either write a letter or sign your name or something.
She says, I have yeah, she starts like digging through her pockets and she pulls out what looks like a small sort of like a carved stone like medallion of some sort, and she says, I have this it's a family mark of sorts. This is it identifies me as one of the Brighthelm clan. She says, I've really no need for it, but show this to them, and they will know that you tell the truth.
All right, I say, and I'll reach down, take the medallion, and says, if it's not that far off, then I'm sure we can just pull up and at least talk to them and leave the message.
She sort of like nods and said, I would appreciate it. And if you do if you do go and see someone from my family, tell them I'm doing all right.
Of course, he says. Anyone in particular we should be looking out for?
She sort of shakes her head. It says, I'm sure they'll probably send send one of my cousins. Says, I honestly can't say which one. I've got quite a big family back home.
I nod. I understand. Says, well, we will be sure to tell you that tell them that you are doing okay.
She sort of nods and says, I shan't keep you any longer. You've got a long journey ahead of you. She says,
And I look around and says, I'm still no sign of Lucas. I says, we're gonna wait for Lucas to come back, and I don't know. I think
Guess we gotta leave him.
I think nature had a very sudden and quick turn call for him.
He's off taking like a monstrous shit.
no, so you wait like 10 or
Dragon
15
shit.
minutes, and Lucas comes like running back with a
Walking, I
map
don't
in his
run.
hand. No, running back. No, yeah, you walk back. Okay.
Here's Picky's
Clearly
ass.
not in that much of a rush to leave. Wants to stay here a little bit longer. So he is carrying like this large sort of map of like the
Yeah.
whole Sword Coast. So it's like pretty big. It's like,
Yep.
It's a very big rolled up map.
Yep. Did you buy a map case? I can buy one later, I imagine.
I'm assuming it came with a map case. Did it not come with a map case?
no, it came with like like a simple case, nothing special.
All right.
Brad's not that big of a dick. Don't worry.
I would
No,
have.
that's a 100 gold DLC add-on.
Oh yeah. It's day one DLC. It's actually on the disc. I mean, on the paper. But
It has to unlock.
This is grayed out.
I don't know if the
Yeah.
thing is updated, but I'll just do this real quick in case it hasn't.
there we go. Yes, it's updated.
Oh,
And now
so much
you can
fucking
see.
better.
Oh shit! Iron Master isn't that far. Yeah, it's just along this path, and then up here, there's gonna be like some stone markers. Stop at the first one and just wait. All right. That's not too far off of our initial goal. So it's just like a little detour and then
It'll set us
down.
back maybe a couple days.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that bad. Holy shit, Waterdeep is far fucking south.
Dude, yeah.
It's like
Told you.
600 miles.
And let's be honest, we're not going to go straight lining.
That's why I said
What?
like probably 2 months.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah, you're gonna
Like,
go.
alright, guys, I'm
you're gonna
back.
go to
Sorry about
Waterdeep.
that.
You're gonna go to Waterdeep by like this way and go that way, and then you're gonna like go up in the mountains, and you're gonna go
No,
here, there,
no,
and you go
no,
here,
no,
over
no.
there.
We are
and
not touching
here.
this place. This place, we're just gonna fucking
No, we're
no,
going to
Down this
Evermore
way.
for sure.
no. That is where you only got lost.
That's where the other sides.
Let's not go to Evermore. We're gonna
Look, we
we're
have
gonna
a
meet.
nice, we have a nice, easy coastal route.
Yes, we can.
Man,
we
we
can
can stop at Luskin and take a boat, make it faster.
I was going to say we could
Yeah,
either stop at
that's
Luskan
probably-
or Neverwinter and take a boat from there.
That's precisely what I was thinking as well. So let's do that.
We'll see as we get there.
We'll see as we get there if we
I
meet.
saw Brad raise his eyebrows, was like, they think. Them water giants.
I mean, that's what's storm giants, I guess.
They're like cloud giants, aren't they?
No. Cloud giants are cloud giants. Storm giants are. They have amphibious as one of their traits. They can breathe in the water.
Like they would electrify themselves.
I know. I don't know. I don't understand it myself, but they have amphibious as one of their traits, and they can live in clouds castles. They can live under seas. They can live a bit
Listen,
everywhere.
Don't judge them.
Yeah, I know. I'm
They're
not
cooler
gonna-
than you are.
Ow.
Just jealous for.
All right, so you guys begin to make the long journey, exiting out of the Dales. It is the
Ugh.
midst of summer, so the trail is like open and traversable. It's going to take, you would know, Alquil. It's going to take about 2 days. To get through the whole trail. You're gonna have to spend like kind of like 1 day camping somewhere along the trail, and then there'll be like towards the end of the second day you'll arrive in the small settlement of Hundlestone that is like built on the trail, and from there it's
Yes.
sort of like downhill and out into the sort of like plains on the other side of the mountains.
And checking my journal, I can see that the quest marker, one of the side quest markers, I think is on Huddlestone. The one that where we are supposed to
Yeah,
seek
one
a
second
twin
here.
iron bottom. What? What?
Oh my god, we moved to Orlsbarg.
Stop
What the
moving the
fuck?
fucking thing. Don't move the thing, or I'll have to take away your rights to move the thing.
Oh shit, we have the right to move it. I didn't know that.
Well, I
thought-
had to give it to you because of the dynamic lighting, but now it's being taken away.
Yes.
No.
You abused it, and now you can't have it anymore.
And this is why we
Sorry,
can't have
Dad.
nice things. Damn it, James. We can't have. That's why we can't have nice things.
There's a question mark.
I don't like this giant dad.
I mean, you could just actually use the text tool.
No, stop it. It's cheating. Right, well, you guys can draw your own fucking quest markers then. Fuck you.
He's had enough. He's done.
All right, so you begin to make your way down to Hundlestone.
Yeah. We're now on the road. What is
yes.
Huddlestone?
It is a small like settlement along the trail. You kind of have to pass through it. It's kind of like a gateway to the to the pass that leads through to the Icewind Dale. It's like a
Oh.
small settlement.
How long does it take us to get there?
It's gonna be about 2 days.
2 days.
So there's gonna be
Cool.
like 1 day of camping in the mountain pass, and then you'll reach Hundlestone on the second day. So
Nice.
let us see how things proceed. Would one of you kind folks, or I suppose 3 of you kind folks, like to roll me a d20? All right, a 5. A
You like how
15, and a
instant
10.
we were with that? We had it all spelled /R space D. Like, what is it gonna be?
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? All right,
Turn your
so
webcam on, Zach.
you begin to make your way through the pass, 24 miles in a day,
Woot.
traveling through. Basically, you spend about like the half of the first day just traveling through the sort of like hilly plains of the Dales before you can like see these sort of lumbering mountains like looming imperiously in front of you, and you can see where the trail kind of begins to head up through the mountains. You can see there are like there is some sort of like minor like guard force like stationed near the pass, just to like keep an eye out on things. And there's kind of like a small like sort of settlement, like this sort of like satellite town of Bryn Shander, to like keep an eye on the pass, but it's not some place that people want to stay or anything like that. And they like give you a quick check before you like head through up to the pass. They just like warn you of the dangers, and they're basically like, if you fucking get lost or die up there, it's not our problem. Um,
Yeah,
uh, and like nobody's gonna come looking for you, so just be safe. um,
that's the plan.
And then yeah, you guys begin to make your way up the pass. The wagon wheels every so often will like hit a rut or like a rock in the road and just sort of bounce violently. And it's not exactly a pleasant journey through the rocky trail. But you begin to snake your way up, and the sun begins to sort of like set. Although the shadow of the mountains to either side of you kind of like blocks off much of the light, so you're kind of like traveling in darkness for most of the second half of the day, um, and eventually it's like night falls completely, and you would know probably about like halfway through the trail, and just all the question marks and exclamation marks. um,
Go over to the piece of art. We're at the campsite now.
And you can see that there is sort of like an area like carved into the rock at the side of the road where it's quite clear like um, it's a stopping point for a lot of people like going through the trail. There's like clear evidence that like camps have been set up here before. Um, and it's like a pretty well known like spot to like rest if you're traveling through the trail. There's actually as you're coming through, there's like another party that's kind of like going the other way that's like camped there. You can see some like wagons parked around, merchants of some sort, and they like greet you as you like arrive. um, and yeah, I mean they'll like do some like small talk or whatever along the way, but they don't really have anything interesting to share. um, they probably just like relay news of like giant attacks and like stuff you've already heard before basically. um,
All right. While we're before anything happens, I'm going to ask who is going to take the Sira companion card.
Which one
What
was
does it
he?
do? Yeah, let's have a look.
He has 2 injuries. He gives a passive bless to whoever has him. So you have a D4 to your attack rolls and saving throws. And his inspiration is that he can do like an AOE heal, I believe, or no, not an AOE heal, just a single heal, like a a third level cure wounds to either yourself or a person within 30 feet of you. I should not have him because he only has 2 injuries, and you know how I'm just gonna get fucking pummeled.
The last time I had someone, they died.
Yeah.
So I guess me or Nibelung.
As much as I would love that D4 to attacks, but
Yeah, so James or so Alexei or Nibelung, which one of you wants to
Maybe
have?
me actually, because Mike likes to shapeshift and get hit.
Yeah, makes sense. You like to run away.
Yeah, precisely.
all right,
I
so
am. I am fine with Alexei having Sirak.
very well.
Sweet.
So Alexei, you are now in possession of Sirik. Yeah, and at the end of the first day, you're all like setting up camp, and he's just like, I am well and truly glad we managed to find a wagon to pull us through this trail. He says, I did not realize it would be so rough. He says, I mean, just being up in these mountains, I'm already losing my breath. It's hard to breathe up here.
He says, just take it easy. He says, look, get acclimated to the climate. He says, it's just it's dangerous to travel to climb too fast or in one day. He says, your body might your breath you'll lose it quite quickly if you don't actually like give time for you to adjust. Say,
Sort of nods and says, yes, yes, sound advice. Says, it would not do well to break down before we even get through but a portion of this journey. Says, I will go sit down for some time. Um,
very well. Take it easy, Zero.
and he goes and like sits down on like a rock. Maybe he goes up to some of the merchants and sort of like begins like conversing with them a bit. Yeah, so you guys like set up camp.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Like
the night begins. So
Lexi goes up to Lucas.
who wants to take what's the watch order going to be? Are you gonna not watch? Are you guys rebels?
we're gonna keep watch. I know what happens
Can-
when people don't keep watch.
Can hockey keep watch?
I
Can
mean,
Winston keep watch? Let's try to
yes,
keep
but
watch.
the hawk can't really like if it sees anything, it's gonna take a while for it to like actually like relay it
It
to
can
you.
communicate with me telepathically, though.
I mean, it can, but if you're unconscious, you're not gonna. It's not gonna
Hey,
matter.
idiot! Wake up! Oh yeah,
And
okay, fine.
it's just gonna fly down and they're like peck 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 peck.
Alright, fine, fair enough. I guess like he can help with my watch then.
Yeah, it could be like a tool that can help you.
Yeah.
I'll
Mine.
do first watch then when it's not too dark, hopefully.
All right. Who wants to take second watch?
Sure.
All right. Nibbling, do you want a third or fourth watch?
Like third.
All right, then I'll take the last one.
Right, so it's gonna be Alexei, Lucas, Nibelung, and then Alquill. Cool.
So- I suppose before we like settle down to go to sleep, Alexei is gonna approach Lucas at some point. Don't sigh, Zach.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm sleeping.
No, you can't keep using that as an excuse.
I mean, if we're set up watches, I'm gonna sleep through your watch. That's how it works.
I like said before, like we settle down for the evening. Like I imagine we're still putting up camp at this point.
Damn it! What do you want?
Well, Alexei goes up to you, and she says, "Hey, Lucas, how's it going?"
It's going well, Alexei. Anything I can help you with?
I'm just curious, and then she'll like sit down next to you. So, are you a dragon, or have you struck a pact with a dragon?
Tact.
Tact. Exactly. That's kind of like stop what I'm doing at the question for a moment as I
And
continue.
she's got like a notebook and a pencil out.
I told you before, like I told Alquill, I'm not a dragon.
Not a dragon. As she writes that down.
Please don't write this down.
Why?
Subject
Why
has
do you have
asked
to
not
write it
to write
down?
this down.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Like what?
Like, you know, someone with an eye like that, who's not a dragon. So how did you get it?
So what? I'm just an oddity for you to study now?
Well, no, but it's curious, isn't it? How did it happen?
Back to sleep.
Can't you just take that I'm not a dragon and just live with that?
Oh, would you not want to talk about it? And she gets like this disappointed look on her face.
Well, why do you need to know?
Well, I've known you all these years, and I never knew anything like that was going on with you.
All right, listen, I'm not a dragon. Have I struck a pact with a dragon? Yes, you could say that.
I see. And she put her
Sorry.
notebook away.
Thank you.
And she says, "How
If
did
you were about
that?"
to write, I was about to burn that notebook.
Well, she said you didn't like it, so anyway, she's like, "So how did it happen?"
She was able to offer me something that I needed.
And is that your magical powers?
No.
Oh,
To get what I needed, I have to work for her.
do you mind if I ask what it is?
Yes, I do mind.
Right, okay. And so what? And so what do you have to get her then?
Whatever she wants. The reason why I was up in the Dales 9 years ago was to do that. There was. You remember the undead worm that we fought?
Sorry, what was that? My dad came into my room just there.
Oh my god. Fuck your dad.
No, what was that last thing you said? That thing we fought?
Yeah, you remember that undead worm that we fought 9 years ago up in the Dales?
I do.
Well, one of the reason I was up there in the first place was to find a gem that was embedded in it.
I see. So why did she send you up this time?
I don't know.
Wait, you don't know?
She doesn't always tell me exactly why she wants me to go someplace.
So are you sure that she wants you to leave?
She hasn't said otherwise.
Oh, okay. So if she doesn't talk to you very often, is it possible you could be making a horrible mistake and she just hasn't got around to noticing yet?
Possibly.
Wow, that's
I
pretty
made
cool.
a I got a pretty big hole from up there though, so it's not too bad.
And she nods. And she says, "Well, if it's a dragon, I guess treasure makes sense." And she says, "What happens if you fail
Fail at what? What do you mean?
at doing what she wants?" I mean, it's been a lot of years. How long
What
is
I
this?
want costs a lot.
Do you know how much longer you have to go on this pack?
Not particularly, but what I'm working for is worth it no matter how long it takes.
Okay. She got this little bit of concerned look on her face. And it's like, "Well, if you ever need any help with it, I'll help you out."
I look her up and down and was like, how much gold do you have on you?
And she like looks in her little pouch and she says, about 250 gold and like 30 silver."
Uh, keep your money. Whatever treasures we find on this will be worth it.
Okay. Well, I just hope everything works out okay for you. And then she will go to hug you. Do you resist?
I don't partake of the hug,
So what?
but I
She's
will.
hugging you.
Yes.
It's a one-sided hug. Very awkward.
This is how it works with Alkyl as well. Alright,
All
fine.
right,
Anyway,
so
so after that, she will go and take up her watch.
all right, cool thing. So, would you please roll for me a perception check? Doing so, due to your hawk with advantage.
So I'm using my modifier with advantage then.
Yes.
Alright, cool. Ugh. Oh my god, no, the sheet's lagging! Fuck! Alright, there we go.
Well, All right, so your watch begins, and you very quickly become absorbed in the
I'm writing a letter
in
to put in my letter bag.
writing or reading or something. Yeah, composing a letter, um, and relying on your hawk to keep an eye out on things and keep you notified. Um, you can see like the other group that's there, the merchants. They seem to have like some sort of like bodyguard or the likes, who is like sort of keeping watch and like spends a lot of the time just kind of like eyeing you, um, uh, just like kind of like keeping an eye on these like armed people coming up the trail, making sure nothing's like up, um, but nothing really of interest occurs during the couple of hours of this watch, and yeah, it passes uneventfully, and you go to wake up Lucas for his watch.
Your
What
turn.
a wonderful watch. Do I need to roll a perception? Wow, you rolled a fucking 6 with an advantage.
On advantage, yeah. So Alexei is gonna write a letter to her masters to put in a letter bag, Brad. I
Sure,
imagine
please
what she
do.
was doing on her watch,
Please
which
do.
is like an update of the events, excluding Mr. Dragon Boy.
Let's do it all. All
That's my
right.
perception, Brad.
Yeah.
I rolled better though.
Yep.
On a single roll.
Maybe we need the wisdom guy to like take
Well,
like
he's
first watch.
he's coming up next. But first watch is when usually it doesn't happen. It's good that he's in the middle when things usually don't.
Jokes on you when one day Brad throws to us like a sun going down raid on our camp.
All right. So your watch passes. You don't notice anything.
I doze off a bit.
You doze off a bit. Very tired. But you sort of snap to when you realize that it's time to wake up Nibbling, um, Nibby, so that he can take his watch. And you head back to sleep, and then Nibby, why don't you go ahead and give me your perception check um, for the watch?
Man, we're doing
fuck?
great. Like,
Wait, what?
tonight's the night we die, guys, I think. Like, if we're going to die, it's going to be tonight.
All right, so Nibby, you're taking your watch, like trying to like keep an eye out, but like it's like a bit distracting. There's like some like noise coming from the other camp, the other people. Seems like some of their like escort are kind of being a little bit rowdy, and like distracting. Um, so you're not able to like really keep a good eye out. Um, you think at one point in time, it's dark, so you can't really see too well. But you think at one point in time you see um, some sort of like winged creature kind of like flying overhead of the camp, just like the dark shadow of it. You can't quite make out what it is. And it like kind of like passes over the camp like a few times before kind of like vanishing back behind some of the peaks of these mountains.
Which
Uh,
direction?
it sort of approached from kind of like the south, and then like headed off towards like the east.
How far away from us is this merchants or the merchants camp?
Not too far, maybe like 100 feet at most.
All right, no, I'll just take note of the bird one off too. It seemed like prey took a circle, checking out what scavenging birds, like circling prey or something.
Something like that, yeah.
I'll go and wake up Alquill.
All right.
Burnout, your savior is here.
Versus Nat 20.
So I'm gonna keep watch out.
Sure thing. Give me that perception check.
Oh wow. Wow.
What is going on?
Oh, classic. Just absolutely classic.
Fucking do it, hubris.
Man. Just fucking kill us now. Brad, do it.
Not
Uh,
every night is gonna have anything happening.
So, Alquil, it is now sort of more towards the morning. It's actually starting to get light again. As the nights are rather short this time of the year so far north. And you're like keeping an eye out. You can tell there's like some activity from the other like merchant encampment, but like something is distracting you. You're not really able to like keep a good eye out. Uh, what is it that's like weighing so heavily on Elquil's mind? Like normally he's like
Mm,
pretty like vigilant, like staunch and vigilant, but there's something like distracting him.
yeah. I would like. I suppose we're leaving the Dales now for the first time he's actually leaving the Dales for what's going to be a long one. And also, you know, the events that has just transpired, I imagine, for the past 2 days. Prince Shandy was attacked, Duessa Shane was killed, the Frost Giants just fucking made us eat shit. Like, Alquil was pretty sure he was dead there for like a good a good time when he got down in the blizzard. The dragon just like picked him up and like, you know, that was also out of this. So I think it's just like the sort of like the collective weight of everything that's happened these few past days that he's just mulling over as he's like trying to keep a watch out. Like it just keeps creeping up in his mind, and he keeps like thinking about that. His spirit has taken a few cracks, I would imagine.
Yes, indeed. So you spend your watch sort of
Feeling sorry for yourself?
in feeling remorseful. And
Yeah, feeling.
yeah, it passes like slowly but uneventfully. Um, and like you can see like as it's drawing to a close, the other caravan that's kind of been approaching the other way is in the process of like they get up early and start like packing up to leave. Um, and the night draws to a close, and everybody sort of like wakes in the morning. Um, uh, it's not exactly the most comfortable or like refreshing night's sleep you've ever had. Um, in fact, mm, nah, not yet. Yeah, so you all wake up.
Short rest, yay!
Well, it's a long rest, but
Oh, it is. It's a long rest. Oh shit.
We've not entered that phase yet, I guess.
Okay, cool.
yeah, not quite yet.
I'm going to change my prepare spell. Find Steed your way. Yeah, you're off for now.
Get ready for when we switch to XP, boys.
Bless ceremony, Kalduku. Find protection from evil, good. Purify food and drink. Shield of fate. Nah. Time is
Purify food and drink could be useful.
It could be useful. Locate object. Magic weapon. Protection from poison. Zone of truth. Branding. Feel like locate objects. It's not like I'm just gonna be like, locate object. Oh fuck, I found the Ring of Winter, guys!
What?
I have locate object as one of the
Oh
spells.
yeah,
you know?
that would totally work.
Yeah. Condition blind, deaf, and paralyzed poison. Yeah, I'll just take purified food and drink.
Okay.
Magic weapon could be useful, but hopefully I won't need it. Also, it's another concentration spell.
All right, so you all wake up in the morning. By the time you guys are all sort of like waking up, the other caravan that had arrived before you is already like heading out further down the trail. They like bid you like farewell and wish you luck on the path. Um, as they sort
Same
of
to them.
descend down into the dales, um,
Fare-
leaving you
It's
Farewell,
back
good.
good luck
to.
on the path.
It's gonna be like that awkward one of like, yes, farewell, and they were both going the same way.
No. So you guys like sort of gather everybody up, place all of the stuff uh, onto the cart. Um, you notice that Sirik seems to be a little bit not very like well rested. Seems to have had a bit of a rough night. But seems to be like taking it in stride. Doesn't really like mention it or like complain about it or anything. Um, and yeah, he gets in the cart with all of his supplies, and you guys begin to head off down the trail. Now, as you're going like further up the mountains and into the trail, it begins sort of like narrowing quite a bit. Um, and you notice it sort of like begins to like sort of snake up and down, and like there are times when it like cuts back on itself, and it's basically just built like in such a way to like try to make the best of the natural like landscape of this pass, to keep things as like level as possible along the way, so you're not going down like crazy steep drops or anything like that. There's like a few switchback trails you head down. um, about like halfway through the day, can I get each of you to make me a perception check?
Oh god.
Man, this went so well last time. Wow, the same number. Awesome. I'm asleep again.
He's asleep again at the wheel. Asleep at the
Or
wheel.
Nah, I'm next to him. I can take the wheel.
yeah. I'm just dozing.
Can I roll lower than my passive?
You can, yes.
Jesus.
All right.
Where
Um,
I had 16.
So Elquil and Nibby, you both hear um like a strange sound coming from somewhere like slightly like behind you a ways. It sounds sort of um, like the sound a blade cutting through the air makes, um, but like rapid pace, like over and over and over. Very similar to like a fan blade, in
Chopper?
like in the real life. This sort of like this like whirling sound, but it's a strange sound to you. You've never like heard anything like this before. It's coming from like somewhere behind you, and you notice like as you're traveling, like a shadow has sort of like crept over you, and you're now sort of like in the shadow of something.
Could I like use any of the knowledge of like my previous like experience living in the Dale to like sort of like think of like, yeah, this could be this thing, or is this like completely alien?
This is like nothing you've ever experienced before.
Shit. So I'll look over towards what the fuck is casting this shadow?
Yeah, so you look back, and it's sort of like back and sort of um, to the west, so it's kind of like back into your right as you're traveling down the trail. You can see sort of coming out from behind the peak of one of the mountains that kind of surrounds this pass, is what looks like a boat, sort of sailing over the peak. There is this large sort of like several like metal blades spinning at the back of it, and this
What the
huge
fuck?
like inflated red balloon at the top of it. Um, and you can see that there are several figures sort of like on the deck, and there is this like huge fucking ballista mounted at the front of it. Um, and it is like flying in the same direction that you're traveling. And as you like turn back and notice it, you can see it's making better pace than you are. So it's like catching up on you, and it's like clearly kind of like heading towards your direction.
Would coming from a metropolitan area like Waterdeep have granted me visions of airships, Brad?
I think you've maybe seen like one once when you were a little girl. Like they're not a very common thing.
What the fuck is that?
By the gods, it's an airship.
It's like, what the? Like, that that ship flies.
Hence airship.
Fair point. But what is that?
I've only ever seen one once, but it's basically just a means of transport, I think.
Why is it here?
That's a very, very good question.
Yeah, based on its current heading, it's sort of like to the north and east of you, so it's coming from like the northeast, and it's sort of like going towards the southwest. So it's like cutting across the trail. It looks like it's probably about to like meet with your own trajectory down the trail.
Is there any like emblem or heraldry on it that might tell us whose this is or what
Send your
organizations it is?
Send your fucking bird up to have a
Yeah.
close look.
Ka! Send Hockey to investigate.
I just think Hawk's car. I
Yeah,
think
so
they do
you
more
sort
like.
of like so you sort of like hold your arm out, and the bird sort of off from your arm and goes to like fly up around it. You get like a better view. You can see now it appears to be like it's not a large ship as far as like ships go. Appears to be maybe like 60 feet end to end, and maybe only about like 20 feet across. Um, and your like bird flies around it. And you can see basically it's like a ship. There's like a slightly higher up deck in the back. There's a ballista mounted in the front and the back, a propeller at the very like bottom back, and it has what looks like two sort of like ice skate blades of wood kind of beneath it, um, as like landing gear almost. And you can see as you like fly around, there's like four figures on the deck of the ship. All of them appear to be sort of wearing these um kind of like fur lined red and black kind of like traveling clothes. Um, and can you give me a perception check with the hawk? Let's see.
All right, let's see. Hawk. Here we are. They have a perception bonus of +2. Wait, past perception 14. So that no, it's +4. What am I saying? So slash R D20 +4. 20.
Okay. So as your hawk flies around and like maybe you even like sort of focus in on its senses to like keep an eye out. You pass around and you can see there's somebody like at the helm of the ship. And as you're like flying around, you see what looks like sort of embroidered on the back of their yeah, it gets pulled into the propeller. Embroidered on the back of their robes, what looks like this sort of like stylized image of a of like a five-headed dragon. Each of the heads a different color. Um, there's like a red, white, green, black, and blue.
Oh shit. It's like some sort of Hydra shit going on here. Is that a symbol that rings any bells?
Make a history check.
Hail Tiamat. History. Here we are. 27.
Yeah, so you recognize the symbology as sort of being the symbol of the dragon goddess Tiamat. The progenitor of all the evil chromatic dragons. She is not like a good person. You would know like rumor has it that she like was a ruler of hell at some point, and like still currently resides there. Um, and you also have heard like rumors that there was and is still a like almost this sort of like cult of people who like worship the dragons. Um, and had at one point in time, perhaps you like heard like rumors or saw it in the newspaper, like attempted to like summon her to the like mortal plane, but failed due to the uh, advances of the Lord's Alliance. They managed to like step in and stop them.
All right. Okay. And so anything else worth of note?
Not really. Um, they seem to like
Me and Four went with
one
the
of them.
same thing.
One of them is sort of like on the ballista, and your hawk is like flying around the front. You can see them kind of like swiveling it around to like follow, but they're not like they don't like open fire or anything.
Right. Okay. Hockey will return.
Okay, so the hawk like flies back down. Um,
Yep. Comes back down to me. Alexei says, "Okay, problem.
What is the problem?
That airship appears to be bearing the symbol of the dragon cult of Tiamat. So if
Oh,
they're here, that doesn't seem like it's gonna be for a good reason."
okay. Does Alquill know who the fuck the Dragon Cult of Tiamat is?
you've probably heard of like Tiamat, but like
Mm.
you probably don't know much about.
Yeah. You've heard of Fatamachu, but you've not heard of the cult.
Yeah. I've heard of this legend of this elven warrior.
And this orc who somehow kept getting weaker every time he stopped talking.
Yep. But yeah, no, it's just like the Dragon Cult of Tiamat. So what does that mean? Is that a problem?
Well, you know how you have chromatic dragons that are evil?
I mean, all dragons aren't all dragons evil?
No. Okay, so you know how you have evil. Okay, there's evil dragons and good. Listen, Tiamat is the god of the evil dragons, and her cult are very bad people.
Ah, I see. I sort of like look up at the airship. What do you think they're after?
Don't know, but if they're here, it can't be for anything good, and they are coming our way.
Surely they're just going to pass us by. They're probably just passing by the pass instead of flying over the mountains.
Yes, that's the hope. I can't imagine they'd want us for anything, would they?
No, I mean, I turned towards Lucas.
I know. I just want the camera to pan back to like Lucas.
I'm still dozing unless someone is woking me.
Hey, Lucas, and I like slap you on the side of the shoulder.
Like what?
Look, I point towards the airship.
I open my eyes and look where he's pointing.
Yes, you see a big wooden ship with essentially like ice skates to either side of it, and this big red balloon sort of floating over the peak. And it's now, like you notice as this conversation has been going on, it's like sort of descending down, but still like keeping its heading.
Have I ever seen an airship before?
Um, well, you've kind of been like in and around Waterdeep. So it's probably like a similar situation to Alexei, where you've maybe seen one like once.
As a,
What's one of those doing up here?
I don't know, but it's being piloted by the cult of Tiamat.
Assuming I've heard of them. Or know that what Tiamat is.
Yeah, I think you heard like the rumors in like Waterdeep. Like a couple of years ago, there was some like cult of dragon worshippers who tried to summon this evil god and failed.
Yes.
I was like, oh, cult of Tiamat, eh?
Yes.
I think I remember hearing something about them a few years back.
You don't have anything to do with them, right?
I look over at him. Like, what is that supposed to mean?
It says they, according to Alexei, they worship evil dragons, and you're the only one with connections to dragons here. Like we're hoping they're just gonna pass us by, but they started to decide.
No, Alquill, I don't have anything to do with the cult of Tiamat.
Inside check.
Let me roll my deception real fast. I'm joking. There's not going to be a deception. I'm not lying.
Right. So I look to him and nod and like, well, I look to back at it. We can't outrun it. That's not just not gonna happen. So let's just hope they pass us by.
Wait a minute. If they don't,
As a precaution.
we could have an airship.
Lucas.
I like the way you think.
So I cast aid on myself, Lucas, and Nibby.
Is that by 5?
Yeah, your current and maximum increases by 5.
All right, so you
All right,
do this.
oddly,
This conversation sort of goes, and at this point, you can see the ship is now kind of like passing like directly above you, and is now like basically like straight up. You could see like the underside of the ship, and you see like something sort of like lean out over the side, and then you see something like falling towards you. Um, could I get each of you to make me a dexterity save?
Oh no!
the dropping bombs.
Oh no!
Alright, guys, I'm okay.
Remember, Alexa, you have a plus 1d4 from Sirac.
Yeah, it's gonna matter.
All right, so
Does
Um,
8 pass, Brad?
so Lucas, you managed to like see this coming, and you kind of like scramble off of the cart. But the rest of you are suddenly splashed with this sort of like cold, like foul-smelling water from like up above.
Piss on you.
Um, and it's just like awful. Can each of you give me a Constitution saving throw?
Me as well.
No, not you. You dodged
Okay.
Are you
water.
fucking
What the fuck is
kidding me?
happening?
Can I see the guy poking his head out? How
No,
high?
he like quickly like dumped whatever this was and like retreated back.
How high up are they? Are they within 120
They're
feet?
they're about like 100 feet up.
These fuckers are just like doing. They just saw us as like, you know what would be funny? You know what would be funny, George? if we lean down close and cat through our. We know we have to like get rid of the piss anyway. Let's just throw it at them because we're dicks.
Motherfuckers.
Dumped her fucking chamber pot.
Well-
What the fuck?
I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast at the fucking ship.
You cannot. It is not a creature.
Oh shit, you're right. You're one of those people. I forgot that Brad's one of them who don't allow it.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we just get dumped in this shit.
Yeah, you just like washed over by some sort of foul-smelling liquid.
Alright,
Alexei screams.
I'm gonna look up at the ship, and I'm going to center this in the middle of the ship.
Shatter.
That's my boy.
Why the fuck do I have to choose which level?
Why?
Wind wall.
Strong wind rises from the ground at a point you choose. So, unfortunately, this spell needs to be targeted from a point on the ground.
Oh, and they were 100 feet up?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
100 feet up.
Oh, dang it.
So don't waste a spell on that.
Yeah.
Late. Oh well.
I mean, you would know that.
Um,
You wouldn't cast a spell.
A piss thrown at us. Nice.
Ah!
And we had to do a con save as well, so we've probably got diseases. Actually, if it is diseases, I'm immune to it.
No, basically it's just like you are all like poisoned, like effectively like sickened for a round or whatever from the stench, but it quickly quickly wears
Phew.
off.
Fucking.
Disgusting. Ah!
It's 100 feet up, so I can't miss the step up either.
I watched. Does anyone poke their heads back out?
Whoever pokes the head first guy who pokes his head back out is getting a fucking Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Whoever shows their head first loses it.
Oh man.
No, but you can see the ship is sort of like continuing to like descend down, and like its path cuts, so it's like following the same like orientation as you. Um, in the meantime, you're all still like kind of like traveling along while this is occurring. So you're sort of like the ship is like up above you, maybe like 100 feet, and you're down on the trail, both traveling in the same direction. Um, you hear what sounds like this sort of like almost like crack of thunder up ahead, um, and like the ground begins to like shake and rumble. Um, and like you turn your attention, um, and you can see sort of down the trail a ways. Um, there is what appears to be these two large figures, sort of like standing on either side of the trail, each of them hefting a mighty sort of like weapon, um, and kind of
Are they
like
frost?
they would appear to be sort of giants of the frost variety.
Here we go again. Summon the
Ah, shit,
bow.
here we go again.
And one of them appears to be sort of like holding this like blackened stone in its hand, and is like
Of course.
pointing in your direction.
They have the bloodstone. They have a bloodstone. No!
Have to extract Sirac's blood and do a blood transfusion.
I don't think we have the ability to do that.
To well, but not to keep him alive, but we can do it.
Yeah, but that would defeat the point. We need him down in Motordeep.
How about we hurry along the mounts?
Yeah. Let's hurry along. Fuck. This is gonna be fun.
Summon my bow, as I said. Knock an arrow.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So you can see them. Basically, the trail goes down a bit and like snakes back, and they're sort of like at the bottom of this sort of like switchback, like pointing up towards you. So it's clear like they haven't like quite seen you yet because of the like ridge, but they're definitely like aware of like the presence of whoever this stone is like leading them to. Meanwhile, you can see the airship is still sort of like descending, and you can see that like the one of the ballista in the front sort of begins to like swivel.
Oh, not at us or
Seems to be sort of like swiveling towards these giants, and you can hear shouting from up above, although you can't quite make it out. And let's just go ahead and.
Oh shit!
Oh my god, our first battle map.
Our first, it actually has an encounter map. Oh shit! How?
We're in it for real,
Oh.
boys.
Oh, it's just 30 feet away from us.
Is
Well,
this
it's
a-
up in the air
You can
though.
just jump.
Is this a Storm Thunder King map?
I mean, you don't
I don't
know.
know.
It's a mountain pass map. Why am I in the back? I'm. Oh right.
You can
Right,
arrange
right.
yourselves along the trail.
Yeah,
however.
like me and Lucas were. Is this no? This is not a grid. This is not stopping the grid.
No, yeah, it's not. I couldn't get the grid to line up, so it's a free
Alright.
for all on here.
Count, boys. We have to count manually.
So I know me and Lucas was like sitting in the front, like, who's going to be closest to the edge, Lucas? Me or you?
Damn it, me. I assumed I was on the left.
Like I say, I would have been riding on the left side of the cart, so you can be on the right
In my
side.
mind, that's just where I envisioned myself, Alquill.
Alright.
Sirac is in your pocket, so.
Right, so you're on the cart, like so. Yeah, and
Yes.
these frost giants are down below, kind of like pointing in your direction. And one of them sort of like points up towards the like ship. And you can see like begins to sort of like grab this like rock, and the other one's just sort of like focusing on the stone, like holds up a hand to the other one and like points up in your direction.
Oh, so apparently I have control of the sheet, but I don't have control over the token the sheet produces of
mm,
Windstrider.
Interesting. Well, that's because this is just a generic, and does not
What
actually
no-
represent.
What noise would Wind Strider make? Roar.
Yeah, kind of
That?
like that.
Aruah!
For your Norwegian, what do reindeer make, noise-wise?
Cling, 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 cling from the bells. That's what I. That's what I associate. That's what I associate with reindeers.
It's basically like
Yeah, Alco Santa Claus.
English, like bawling or brawling or something.
Maybe it speaks
Mm.
Sami. Can you speak Sami?
No, it speaks telepathically to me.
Why don't you understand Sami for? That's like the native language of your country.
Not this again.
All right. So we have rolled initiatives. We're just waiting for these guys
Yes,
to.
indeed.
Man, we have a prime opportunity, guys, to get an
Get an
airship.
airship.
Can't fucking falter on this.
How did the Giants do something about it?
They're gonna throw rocks at it and destroy the thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, Blizzard, so we have to kill the giants, and
Somehow get the ship to land.
I mean, I can teleport 60 feet. I know Alexi can teleport 60 feet.
I can't.
I can't teleport
Can't.
60 feet. I can only teleport 30 feet, but I only have Misty Step.
Oh wait, is it just
Misty
30
Step
feet?
is only
It's
30.
30 feet, yeah.
Fuck! I keep thinking it's like 60 feet. Damn it.
It's
You're
probably
level
because
5. Why don't you have fly yet?
What?
You're level 5. Why don't you have fly yet?
I don't fucking know, alright?
Because he's useless. What spells did you take at level 5? Let's start
Get
there.
your third level spells.
Yes.
Fireball and haste, I think.
Ah, okay.
Okay, they're decent ones.
Yeah, they're good picks.
All right, so the first one to act is the frost giant with the boulder in hand, pointing up towards the airship, where you can see it's sort of like swiveling to point the ballista down at it, and it takes this boulder and like hurls it up towards the airship. And let us see here. Rock. Um, so you see this rock go hurling up into the side of the ship, slamming into its side, like cracking and splintering it in. The ship sort of like gets like knocked over. You all see like several figures kind of like thrown against the rails at the side of the ship facing you as the rock comes from the other way. But nobody like everybody like stays like stays on the ship. Nobody gets knocked off, and the ship itself seems to sort of be like kind of like swaying a bit, but hasn't like broken and splintered just yet. It's still sort of like intact, and the giant begins to sort of back up a ways. And then we have a Nibelung.
Nibby.
It's still 100 feet up.
It's more like 80 at this point, but yeah, they're still above you.
Damn it. Damn it.
Dang it, that's outside of my range.
Oh yeah, does Windstrider act on his own initiative, or does he mine?
If delaying turns, does that permanently put me in the place I go down to, or
You cannot delay a turn. You can only hold an action.
um? Dang it. Okay, I'm just. Do we stay in the cart? What do we do?
Quill would probably say like, well, if we can pass them by while the two fight each other, that would be excellent.
I look at the two giants very much in our way.
No,
I'll touch Alquill and cast Guidance.
Oh, interesting.
And yep, that's. I'm guessing we've stopped the cart now since we got. Yeah, since all of this happens, I'm gonna jump off these trees and like see what I see.
I mean, we could just continue along the road, couldn't we? Or does the road go down
The
to
road
them?
snakes down to where they are. They
Ah,
switch
it
back.
just goes.
It's a
Fuck.
serpentine down towards the blockade of giants.
We could just keep going around here and then just try and go down the slope.
With a
onto-
cart.
With the cart,
With
the
a cart.
You're strong, aren't you?
I think. No, that's dumb. I don't think that's gonna work. All right, let's. I don't know. Yeah, you cast
Like walking
guidance.
past is an option. Anyway, that's my turn.
Look,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the good old tried and true tested method of we got to try and kill these guys.
All right, so this giant, you can see, sort of the stone in one hand, its axe kind of on the shoulder in its other, just turns to the other and says, "Forget the strange ship. Our quarry lies at the top of the ridge." And
Fuck, they're after us. I say.
Is
No
that
shit.
really- Is the stones really that accurate? How do they know it's on the ship?
It is accurate in
Because the
direction
ship
and
is in
distance.
that direction, and we're in this direction.
Demand an intelligence check on the giants.
Yeah. I'm just
So it
hoping since they
stomps
threw a
up.
rocket ship already, the ship's gonna attack them.
Towards the bottom of the ridge.
Shit.
And from
Find
its
it.
from its height, like the ridge is about like 15 feet tall. So this giant is actually like standing kind of like you're like eye level with it, and it sort of like sees you down there in the bushes, Nibby, and it's just sort of like you see like a smirk, as it like grabs its axe and slams it down towards you.
What you're saying is it's like perfect ramming height.
You
So
can get
it
onto
swings
its head
once.
and it can't will.
20
Hmm.
will hit you for 26 points of damage. And then it swings again. This time missing it. So its axe comes down, and just you see it impacts the ledge next to you, and you watch as just like a big 5-foot chunk of rock from the ridge just like breaks and slides down the mountain like a foot away from where you were standing. Right, Alquil.
All right. I'm just gonna tell Vince Rider to keep the cart going and keep it safe.
I forgot about. Hold on a sec. Sorry.
And I'm going to run over towards Nibelung. And I am going to jump over to try to get onto the giant's head.
All right.
Or
Yeah,
shoulder or
with
something.
temp HP and stuff, so I had more than I. What?
1d5, what?
Don't mind me. Just rolling
So,
some things.
What do I need to roll to like?
Go ahead and make me an athletics check. See if you can. I'm just rolling some
Ooh.
things right now.
The D4 if necessary.
I have a d4.
Guidance.
Oh yes, guidance. Yes. Yes.
That's
Ability check.
torso.
19.
19.
Torso.
Man, do I still have that 5 temp HP you gave me, or did that go away?
No, that lasts for 8 hours.
Okay,
You have, and it's not temp HP. Your maximum and your current HP got increased by 5
okay.
for 8 hours.
I didn't get any. Sad face.
No, because I can only give it to
Right.
free creatures.
You successfully leap over and like land on the giant's shoulders.
Would that use my action, or would that?
I'd
Do I
say
still-
it's I think it's involved enough that it would be like an action to engage in that.
All right. Then, as my bonus action, I just I kick him. Kick him in
No,
the
you're
air.
you're not a monk, man. You can't do that.
I know, but it's just like.
All right, Lucas.
Assuming Bella's going to be following, she's smart enough to at least go along with the cart, if his moose can
Yeah.
guide it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk back a bit, jump up over the cart into the back, and then walk down the other side and go this way.
Okay.
Oh yeah, will it move on my turn? Because that would move the entire cart, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably would.
Okay, so I was still on the cart then as it was being pulled.
Yeah, so Alexia and
Made it
Lucas
about-
should be
it
moved
would
over
be
here.
About like here.
So I'll say I'm about right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll move. I'm actually in a good position as is, but I will jump up off the cart.
Alright.
And then I'm going to shoot at the giant that What is this giant down here doing, by the way?
He was the one who threw the rock at the
That one
ship.
hurled the boulder at the ship.
And
Well, the
But
one
now
where-
seems to be like refocusing as the other giant like shouted at it something in their language. Which
All
Alco
right, I'm
understood.
going. Let's focus to one. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot at the one here, but first I'm going to bonus action to exit.
Okay. Bonus action to hex. It's hex.
And I'm going to pew pew it
Very well. Go for it.
with my packed along. I almost hit longsword again. Is a 15 a hit on it? I don't think it
A
is.
15 is just a hit. It like just barely like sinks into the giant.
All right. Then it takes 7 plus the hex damage. So.
Can you roll me a d10?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta fucking call shit now, don't I? 4. What'd I hit it?
4, that would be, so 1 and 2 is the legs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you hit it in the torso. And you can see this one is wearing, appears to have like shoulder armor over its left arm, and like pretty like heavy, sort of like, it almost looks like rough like chainmail kind of, like a mix of chainmail and leather on his torso. So as your arrow strikes in, a lot of it is absorbed by the strength of
Okay.
the armor.
I'm gonna shoot it at its face. With the next one.
All right, so that would
Should
be
say we
at
can
a
call him, right?
yeah. You can call a shot. It's a -2 if you're aiming for, like the torso or the arms, and then it's like a -5 if you're aiming for the head.
Jesus Christ, dude.
This is just for him, or this is a new thing?
No, this is for
This is like
everything.
any ranged attacks.
He posted
I
a
pinned
big
it
post in, and he pinned it in the channel.
All right, we're gonna test it. Shoot it at its face.
Come on, Zaki.
27.
Ammo, please.
So 27 minus 5, so that's 22,
2.
but still hits, of
That
course.
still hits, yeah. Of course,
Still
the roll
hits.
20 is not responding. Of course, classic.
So it's a 13 damage, right? Because of
13
the
damage
hex.
to the face. Yes.
Sure thing.
Also strength.
Ah, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's my turn.
Okay. Next up will be Alexei.
Yep.
Uh,
So I see our Quill over there, and I think he needs to be a bit faster at what he's. Oh, is he actually within 30 feet? Hang on. Ah! I think you're out of range, our Quill. Sorry, I can't haste you.
About move?
Hmm?
Move, you know?
You could get off the cart, or you can stay in the cart, or you can...
Oh yeah, I'll hop over here. Now you're in range.
Yes.
Shut up, guys. Fucking hate all of you. Then I'll spend the rest of my movement to
You weren't saying
shimmy
anything.
up this way. I think I get to here. There we go.
Oh, plus 2 AC. Shield of Fate, you have returned.
You have returned in a new and better form.
Yes, one that doesn't require me to keep an upkeep on your concentration.
yes, indeed. And is that everything?
Yep.
Okay. So next, you see the airship sort of like descends and turns a bit, pointing its like front ballista at the giant.
Which one?
The one that threw the rock at it.
It
Is
was
that
a big
this
rock.
one or this one?
No, it is the one that's not in our face. It's the other one.
Right.
This one.
Okay.
And they are going to make an attack with the ballista.
This giant's just gonna fucking climb onto that airship and destroy it.
So
It's been a
that'll
while since I've seen
be
these tokens for.
right. So the
Seems-
ballista
Oh yeah, the cultist tokens. Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, shoots out and just sort of like impacts into the ground next to the giant, missing. And you hear some like shouting as like they're like quickly like trying to reload it.
I
I
imagine.
said just 2 notches left. Left, not right.
Oh, but I was shooting on left. I'm
Um,
facing towards you.
And then you all hear what sounds like this loud, sort of like roaring, like echoing roar coming from somewhere towards the southeast. But in the meantime, this giant, um,
The ballista tried to shoot them.
it did, but he's also been told by his superior that he should ignore the ship for now.
If it hit him, on the other hand, it might have been a different story.
Yeah, maybe. He comes over here. He hops up here. Can't quite make it to melee with anyone without dashing, so he is going to dash up to the base
You know
of
you
this
want
cliff
to.
into Lucas's face.
Hey, Lucas.
Right, Nibby.
I think it's time to wild shape, my dude.
Uh,
You don't get to tell him what to do.
Yeah, you don't play his character. Get out of here.
I
I'll
just want you to
cast
belong to the
Goodberry, and I'll sit down and cry and eat Goodberries.
Classic.
I just want you to turn into a constrictor and choke this giant.
I think I can choke such a large creature.
Not with that attitude.
Good up. Alright, hold on.
Is it a constrictor snake or a giant constrictor? It's a giant constrictor snake.
Alright, constrict snake.
Let's just look at that. It doesn't say. Well, it's a huge creature. Holy shit! It's a huge creature. It's the same size category as the giants.
Alright, Mike,
A
get to
giant
work.
constrictor snake?
Yeah,
What CR is that?
2 CR2.
Um, you're not level 6 yet, though.
I'm a Circle of the Moon. Or, it's called.
Circle of the thing.
Circle of the Moon. Yeah.
Circle of the Moon.
Give me a second now. I'm consulting the one note.
Consult it.
Druid, Circle of the Moon.
You can use your wild shape to
Psychic
transform the
exchange.
beast as one.
Starting at level 6, you get it the level. Okay, so currently it's just CR1, and then you ignore the max CR column of the beast shape table, and then starting at level 6, you can do it at a druid level divided by 3. So at 6th level, you will be able to become a CR2.
Yeah, so you can't quite do CR2 creatures yet. I think I kind of messed up a bit earlier and let you, but your max should be CR1 right now. Until next level.
A normal constrictor snake is a CR1-4. It also can grapple, but since grapple is that it has to be within one size category, since it's a large creature, it can still grapple a giant.
I don't think I can make a. I can't make a normal constrictor snake.
A normal constrictor snake is CR1 half, no 1/4. While a giant one is a CR2. So both of those, well, not the giant one, but with the constrictor snake, you can't become a giant one. But both of the constrictor snakes are able to grapple the giants. If you so desire. Just we have that established.
Okay, that's. 4th. Wow, 13 hit points.
Yeah, it's not gonna have a lot. Otherwise, like, if I think that the best hit points wise, the best one you can become is like a type of bear. I don't remember if it's black bear or brown bear.
Like dire wolf or some shit.
Or dire wolf that gives you advantage on attacking it because I'm within 5 feet of it. Yeah, the brown bear is I think the best one with like in terms of hit points. It has 34 hit points.
Dire wolf is 37. I'll just
Okay.
go
I have to be RB. 4,
Dire
you're in
wolf.
command.
Okay.
So you're gonna turn
I
into a dire wolf?
turn into a dire wolf.
Very well. Believe you have a
And
dire wolf
I will also. Actually, no, I'm not within striking distance, right?
You are. It's like right at the base of the ridge.
Fight into him.
And you have advantage.
There, I get advantage, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yep.
Five.
So it
Dead.
would be a 16,
Yep.
which does hit. So you sort of like reach out, kind of like biting into
Its head, isn't it? Or is its body also sticking around there?
yeah, it's kind of either or. I think you could probably like go for an unarmored section from here. Kind of like bite around his neck or something. So go ahead and roll your damage.
And if the target is a creature, it must succeed on a 13 strength save or be knocked prone.
Yeah, and Hex just given this advantage on ability checks, right?
Yeah,
Not
it
saves.
doesn't affect saves.
Fucking fail! Roll on one! It is!
All right, so let me see exactly.
I'm just grabbing onto it.
Yeah, so it is like knocked prone somehow.
Wolf bites around his throat and just like drags him into the side of the cliff, cracking his head against the cliff, causing him to like slip down. Slide down.
So Alquil, you're currently like stood on its shoulders, so it begins to sort of like fall back. Can you make a dex save for me?
I can indeed. 13.
13. Let's see here. You're 15 feet up. Well, what's the like? Okay. Yeah. So Alquil, you're sort of like scrambling to like jump and like grab the ledge in time, as the giant is falling backwards. But you sort of like are unable to like grab it, and you are sort of thrown back by the momentum of the giant like falling backwards. And because it's 15 feet, so you fall from 15 feet. So you actually fall down this ledge over here as the giant
Fuck.
like falls prone, falling a total of like 20 feet or so. Um, so you take 8 points of damage from the fall as you like land prone over there.
I know.
Anything else, Nibbling?
It moved a bit, right? So I'm gonna move after it.
Yeah, now that it's prone, you can't actually like attack it from the ledge.
Yeah, you'd have to like it's 15 feet below you now, so you'd have to either run
I'm
around.
just gonna move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just stay where you are?
I move.
Yeah, where are you moving?
Yeah,
Up to the thing.
are you gonna leap down, or are you gonna go the long way around? If you leap down, you'll take
Straight
damage.
cliff or
Yeah, it's like a sheer
is it
cliff.
slope?
Yes. You can
It's
see
like-
the cliff face here.
It's like
how
a
it
sheer
looks.
cliff face.
Yeah, I'll just move 50 feet.
Yep.
Is it possible to jump down and how 15 feet? You say?
Yeah, it'd be
Yes.
like a 15-foot drop. So it'd be like 1d6 of damage.
Can I do a deck save to like get half damage or something? I try to
No,
jump?
that's kind of treading on the monk's territory a bit.
I'll just jump then.
You leap down onto the towards the prone giant. You will take 2 points of damage from the fall, and that is all. All right, so then it is the giant's turn. It is going to stand up, quite angry now. And it is going to try to take out its anger on this wolf that just like knocked it on the ground. Your wolf AC is 14, right?
Yeah. Direwolf has 14 AC.
So it swings once. That'll hit. Swings twice, so those both hit.
6 sec. No, wait. 35. So that's
19. So you had 16 out of the 31. So I think it's 15, yeah. So 15 damage carries over.
And you down.
And Nibelung is down.
Well,
That was the giant's whole turn. doing
here we
that.
go, boys.
Elquill.
Right. Is the giant's feet armored? The legs. Does the legs look armored?
This particular giant's legs do not look particularly heavily armored. It seems to have most of its armor in the torso and on its arm.
All right. Then I will run up, use my movement to run up to its legs, and I'm going to just start chopping away at it. I'm also going to use a bonus action to ignite my blade, the searing smite,
All right.
and I am going to attack it 3 times because of haste. 1 and crit. And that's the damage that I hit with the Searing Smite. Does the Searing Smite crit as well? Or...
Yeah.
Alright. Then another d6 from that. So a total of 10 fire damage. If he fails his Constitution saving throw,
I think
At
that's
the
at
end-
the start of its turn, basically. It starts igniting on fire, and then at the start of its turn, it makes the save to see if it continues taking fire damage.
yes. So it takes 10 fire damage, it takes 6 slashing damage, and that's it from that one.
Yep.
Second strike, 10 slashing damage.
Jesus.
One
And
more
the third.
time. and
Well.
dead.
I was, yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, your extra strike that you're granted from this spell, you're kind of moving with like a supernatural quickness you're not really like used to. So you go
Yeah.
to like swing this like extra time, and you're just like kind of thrown off by the speed of it, and with miss. But
Oh no,
you
Nibelung is down.
dealt a couple of blows there, and then we
Yeah.
have Lucas.
Windstrider just continues to move down, I imagine.
They always got one for me. Shoot at this one. Can I still see this one?
Yeah.
The one that Alcohol's time. What's the penalty for trying to shoot its feet?
It's a -2, trying to shoot at the
Okay.
legs.
It seems easier than trying to shoot at the head.
Shoot it in the knee.
Shoot
I'm
it
gonna
in
shoot
the
it in
knee.
its knees, yeah.
I used to be a giant like you.
go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit,
Miss.
that's a miss.
The first strike misses.
Second also is a miss.
Second will also miss. Unfortunately, you try to like aim, take extra careful
Back.
aim, but the process of doing so causes your arrow to fly loose.
What is this big dog?
Dead.
That was a die roll that temporarily was here.
Bonus action, maddening hex. It takes 5 damage.
Okay.
Nibelung did something impressive. He turned into a direwolf, bit the giant, and made the giant fall down to its knees. Then he leapt down after it, and the giant just got up and was like, "No!" and just
Bad
smacked him
dog.
down. Bad dog. Smacked him twice, and he went down.
Wow. Fucking hell.
Alexei.
Will?
I'm
Well, that's
beneath
a
the
giant.
beneath the feet of the giant, just slashing at it. I did 2 criticals in a row.
You fell down to the feet?
The giant fell down. The giant
Oh,
fell down.
Alright. So let's see what we got here. Has this one taken any damage yet?
That one has not been like attacked at all.
Is this one standing up again?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna aim for the head, boys. Here we go.
That's a -5, I believe.
Yep.
Is it?
Yep.
All right. So remember, you have a plus D4 to your attack rolls. So that's 9.
Alright, next.
Nope. Your
I
bolt
believe it's,
flies
focus.
wide. Yeah, so you can see they like sort of stabilize their airship finally as the from the impact of the boulder, kind of begin to descend down, sweeping and turning, and you can see now several of them have like rushed over with crossbows on the side of the ship, and are like taking aim at some of the giants, while the man on the front is kind of swinging the ballista around again. And they are all taking aim at the same giant that Elquil realizing his horrible mistake.
I mean, the first one did crit like a searing smite that I got.
So
So
the
he's
one with the
possibly on fire.
ballista misses. Then there's 3 crossbows. One of them hits.
the crits, the double crits.
All right, let's see.
My
where
brother.
do they?
Brothers!
I look up.
The torso and the torso. And they're using light crossbows. They are, so they deal 2d8. 2d8 plus 1? Yes.
I need to recruit them as my retainer.
So they one of them deals 6 damage and the other deals 5.
Hey, we're killing them and taking their airship. We've been over this.
I mean, we don't need to kill all of them. We can just be like, okay, you're under new management.
Yeah. Let me just whip out the dragon and they're like, oh, he's important.
Airship's still
Yeah.
kind of positioned like so.
No! Stop them!
And again, sort of at the end of this this round, you all hear another sort of like bellowing roar, and any of you that speak Draconic, which I think is Lucas and Alexei, can understand like words within this like roar. It says, "You are late. What is taking so long?"
Where's
As you
this
see
roar
this,
coming from?
like it's coming from like to the southeast, and you see now this sort of like figure kind of emerging over the peaks of the mountain, heading your way
From the south.
from the southeast.
Why are always dragons? Ah!
There's a dragon
It'll be
giant.
dragons.
There's a dragon giant war going on, and we're caught in the middle.
Which
So
side are we on?
this is the giant by Lucas. He sort of has a couple of bolts like lodged in his back, but doesn't really seem to like mind too much. He starts like looking around, and he says, "Which one of you is Artis Simba? Give yourselves up! We know you're here!" And then he is going to swing at you, Lucas.
I am. Can I respond to that?
I mean, you can, but it's not gonna stop what he's doing.
No, but if I respond to it, I will just shout up in giant, like, I am Arthur Simba!
No!
So this one is going to give me a
Alquill!
deception check, Alquil. Actually,
Alright.
You're not Artist Simper. Artist Simper is a 4-foot tall black woman.
I will
Can
use.
assist?
I will use my. Can I? Must I declare inspiration before, or can I do it after?
I'll say you have to declare it before.
I want this to work. I'm gonna use my inspiration for this.
Can I give it advantage? Oh, he's already given advantage.
All right, so you see the the giant shouts that, and you say that, and you see he's about to lift his axe up to strike Lucas, but he stops and like turns over to you, like smiling, and he says, "Huh, there you are," and he stomps over towards you. Lucas, you can punch him, I guess. You're not using a melee weapon at the time, so you don't have a.
What is that? D20 plus strength?
Yeah, plus strength and proficiency.
Yep.
1 plus. What are we? We're at 2 still, or are we?
We're free. We're at 3 now.
Miss.
Nope. You just sort of like, yeah, and he just walks away. Yeah. So he sort of like looms over you, and you now have these like two giants on either side of you, kind of like looming over you. And this one, you can see is going to, he pulls out this sort of like net, and like basically like tries to throw it over you.
Well, I think that's usually a disadvantage.
Mm,
We'll see.
these are nets that have a larger range than normal, so unfortunately.
Fuck.
But it misses anyway.
Get fucked, giants.
All right, and that is that. But there are now two giants on you. Nibby, go ahead and give me a death saving throw. Okay. The other giant.
4.
Mm.
4.
Yes.
Artist Simper.
He's just going to say, he's going to turn to his companion and say, "Save the bonds for later. Let's just knock him out." And he is going to swing twice at you, Alquil.
All right.
4. 4.
So he crits
Hi,
you
Apple.
for 38 points of damage.
That's enough to knock me out. That's 2 more than what I have.
I hasted you for nothing, Alquill.
Oh man.
And then he's going to use his second attack to reach down and grab Alquil.
It's our outer fist.
I like how you changed your name to Artist Simber.
Yeah.
He's non-lethal damage for that attack.
No.
Oh my god.
All right, so go ahead and give me a death saving throw.
I thought they just knocked him out.
No.
They didn't do non-lethal. Vince Strider moves 50 feet.
Yep. But obviously can't like circle back, so it basically like moves as far down the trail as it can without
The
circling
fuck do
back
we
towards
do
the
here,
giants.
Lucas?
I don't fucking know.
Lucas.
How's this giant, the one that we actually hurt, doing? How does he look?
He's taken like
Not
quite a
bloody.
few injuries.
We hope that that dragon is a friend or benevolent. Feet. Fuck. Shit. Bonus action. I'm gonna Hexblade's curse it as well. He's got both my hexes on it now. I want it did.
So much hexing.
I missed. I missed. Fuck!
Ooh.
What's
ugh.
with these rolls? I have a fucking +9!
GG.
Oh god!
I can't fucking even. Alright.
Like,
Back up.
all right. Alexei.
If I get close enough, I could have Cyrus get our quill back up.
You only got within 30 feet.
I know. That's the dangerous
You can get
part.
both of them up.
Oh fuck. Well, I guess actually, hang on. That's an acolyte. To heal yourself or any one of your allies. I can only get one up.
Yep. Choose wisely. Nibelung is coming up first. It's already rolled a death save. Well, we both rolled a death save, technically speaking. Nibelung is coming up first.
Do either of you guys have healing word?
You don't know.
Alright, fine. Let's see.
I'll be right back to my turn. I gotta pee.
I can move here. Oh, I can move. Oh, it's so difficult when it doesn't snap to grid.
Yep.
Alright, I can come to this square and get Nibby or Alquil up.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Nibelung is coming up first. Just
Alright,
saying.
it's Nibby.
Okay.
So I have to move here. So I have to move to the square here.
Yes.
So that's gonna be
Am I within line of sight though? If it's a sheer cliff.
You might. Yeah, it's a
Instead
shared
of on the
cliff.
edge
So you
of
might.
Yeah,
You might
you
have to.
have to get up to the edge of the cliff.
Yeah. So you probably have to get up here.
okay. I get here. Cyric, yep, I used his inspiration to get Nibby up, so that's 3d8 plus 3. Nibelung, you get 9 HP.
Yes. Luckily, my haste is still going.
Yes, your haste is still going, so if Nibelung can get you up, you're still hasted.
Yep.
So you spend his.
And then I think I'm going to.
It's
Let's
like
see, that's not my action, is it?
no, that's just
No, it's,
using the card. That's free.
Alright. I guess I'll try and firebolt the giant in the face. Oh! Could I use. I can use hockey to give myself advantage, can't I?
Yeah, he can do a help action. Yes.
Yes, you certainly can. Although it is
Alright.
putting your your companion in danger.
Yes, hockey will probably get swatted out of the air, but
I mean,
I
that's
think
what familiars are for.
we need to kill this fucking giant. So I'll send hockey to go and like peck at his eyes to like give me advantage, and then I'll try and firebolt him in the face.
So he starts like swinging around at this bird that's kind of like trying to like peck at his eyes,
You're fire bolting or balling?
Bolting.
bolting.
Advantage isn't going to do anything on a fireball.
No, but are you saving yourself?
Oh, that's the worst crit ever.
11.
Oh, 11
5
damage.
damage.
Now I've still got 7 feet of movement left, so I guess like.
Oh wait. That guy who grabbed me. He needs to make a con save, DC 15. If he fails, he takes 1d6 fire damage because he's on fire.
It'll be enough.
It's not going to be anywhere near enough.
Ooh, 1d6. 5 fire damage. He's on fire.
That'll show him. All right. Is that all, Alexei?
Yeah.
Very well. So the cultists, there's some shouting, and the airship just
No, no.
Do they get any last shots off?
No, they seem like pretty
Happy
interested
with
in
what they did.
letting you guys take all of the hits and not being attacked anymore. Their ship is looking pretty bad after that boulder slammed into it. However, as they're sort
I
of like
shouted them in Draconic. Cowards!
as they're sort of like trailing away, you can see they kind of sail off in front, and then you could just see behind them as they're sort of like trailing away the form of this like massive dragon just rapidly descending down towards this location, and there's this like
Calm
mighty
down, Floor.
there's this mighty roar as a dragon with crimson red scales, its flesh sort of scarred and gnarled, with countless battle wounds. One of its horns is sort of like cracked and broken. It's one of its eyes is sort of like milked over. Um, like clearly after having
God, it's
suffered
this
like a
one.
big wound. And the first thing you notice about this dragon is about twice as big as the last like dragon you saw. This thing is massive, like absolutely massive. And as it glides down, slams down into the side of the mountain, it actually sends almost like an earthquake through the entire mountain. And boulders begin to sort of like break off and fall from up above. Lucas and Alexei, can you give me dex saves?
How do I fucking know that was gonna happen?
Does Windstrider
Ah!
need to do the same?
Yes, and
Take,
Windstrider as well.
Just take my first one. I didn't mean to roll
Fucking
twice.
hell, Brad! That token's huge!
It's a gargantuan fucking dragon.
It's beyond gargantuan.
How did the dragons just not slaughter the giants? Like, they seem so much tougher.
They're fewer of them.
There's a lot more dragons, or a lot more giants than there are dragons.
I suppose that makes sense.
All right, so, Lucas, why'd you roll twice?
It was an accident. I double clicked.
Okay.
My mouse is a
So,
little fucky.
Alexei succeeds, but Windstrider and Lucas fail. So you just get like basically like hit by a bit of like detritus falling from above from just like the earthquake of this massive dragon landing.
Not
So
prone.
the two that failed take 12 points of damage, and Alexei, you
Oh,
take
God.
6.
Oh god, Brad, please. Now I have to do a concentration check to see if I maintain my haste.
DC
Uh,
10. You have
DC
a
10.
and you have a D4 to add to it.
I'm good.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so this dragon like lands, like roars, and you just hear it like shout out again in Draconic, and it says, "I thought I smelled something disgusting around here. Foul Jotun, be gone!" And it just sort of like hurls back, and you just see flames sort of like building in its mouth, and then it this blast of flame echoes out.
Say goodbye to our friends down
Bye,
there.
Nebelung. Bye, your mount.
Um,
Windstrider, yeah, bye, Windstrider.
So it shoots it. Yup.
It's gonna hit Windstrider as well.
I would say
And the cock.
no, just because the dragon's like up and it's aiming sort of down. So it's basically like filling this like lower area with flame, but it doesn't actually reach up to the top of the ridge.
Does it hit Artis, Simber, and Nibelung?
Not quite, although they are going to suffer from being so close to it.
Wait,
Yeah.
don't hit us.
He's being generous.
All around me are
Lean back.
a million
Great.
places.
So let me see. The giants need to make dex saves.
I just failed my deck save.
I think fail and fail.
You take an automatic failure.
Who in it?
Thor, your
If I could
face.
hit.
So let's see how much damage the giants take. Shall we?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And you guys take half of that.
No. So that giant is just melted.
I was being held in his hands.
That is true.
How does that work? Is he like low enough down? Is his arms at his side so that he only gets hit? The giant gets melted from top, from above the waist.
That's the thing. Like I get Nibelung not getting hit, but I was being held in the giant's hands.
Yeah, how does it work? Is it hit, does it go from chest upwards, Brad, or is his hands low enough that it doesn't hit him? Is it possible he drops him by accident?
Well, even if he takes half and he doesn't take the full thing, he takes a hit. Like what is it? 1 or is it 2?
It's
Okay.
2 if he's within 5 feet of me because that's an automatic crit. It's 1 if I just take damage.
Well, if it's 1 and you just take damage, the thing is that the dragon's still falling, which means he would drop you, and you take falling damage, assuming you're high enough up. And that'd be 2 right there if you just got hit and it wasn't a crit.
Provided he doesn't
Which-
die here and now.
Okay, so
Alco
Which
the
would
can
all
dragon-
depend
survive.
on if what you rolled on your one, if you survived.
The dragon was here. The giant was holding you there,
All right, everyone, break out your protractors. Let's go.
facing that direction. So it's kind of like this.
At this angle.
No, I.
Thor, how you feeling? Thoughts?
Four never cares when his character dies.
You know, I
I think he cares, but he's just more accepting.
I think the giant's actually a large enough creature. It was holding in its hand like in front of it, and its
Look at the
back was kind of
benevolence.
facing the dragon. I think it's actually a large enough creature that you had full cover from like the effect of the blast. Although the giant does crumple down and fall on top of you, with you still in its hand. So I will say you do take a failed like death save from that.
Okay. Okay.
The benevolence.
Make sure you get him up, Mike.
You probably gotta be able to see him, and now he's crushed under a giant.
Or I can lift the giant off him.
Don't worry, if I die, they know that they've killed Arthur Simber.
If a dragon
Mike.
kill the giants.
I have my genius plan all along.
All right, so this giant is gonna initiate plan fuck off.
Plan fuck off.
Try
Let's
and
go.
protest the
Let's go leave Nibelung's threat range.
Leaves
Will
Nibble
he
in
try
threat
to-
range.
Oh, he's not gonna try to pick up Arcus Simber and run?
No.
Nibelung,
he's
you
too
taking an
afraid.
attack of opportunity?
Also leaves the dragon's threat range.
Oh.
Alright,
Okay,
guys,
so-
I got this.
Yeah, Nibelung, do your.
Be the one to kill it.
One.
Nope.
You add your proficiency, so it's plus 3, so it becomes 2.
Wow. Shut up, for. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you see this giant like turn and try to run, and then this massive dragon just sort of like shoots out its neck, its jaws like clamping down, and its head is like almost as big as this giant is. Its jaws just like clamp down around it, and you watch as like the sheer like flames of bursting from its mouth like char and melt the giant's like skin as it just sort of bites into it, and the giant just goes limp in its mouth.
History will tell that Nibelung commanded the dragon to kill the giant. He called down an ancient red worm.
Oh man.
What's happening?
Well, Nibble,
the
it's
dragon
your
just-
turn. The giants are both dead.
Alright.
Is combat over?
The
I mean,
tidal wave on the dragon.
somebody's still bleeding out, so
True.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm casting tidal wave on the dragon.
Oh my fucking god. Fucking get doused, bitch!
It's very clear that we have to defeat this dragon.
Yes,
Get out,
yes.
Will up, damn it.
By the way, I'm just clicking because it didn't click before,
sure.
just to get rid of it. Do some spelunking and like a giant corpse of guts and everything, melted stuff. Try and crawl in, and can I crawl in and touch?
Yeah, you're small enough that you can
Good
like
dude.
crawl under and you can like see where Alquil is underneath it. You can heal him. I mean, he's still gonna be trapped under there until like somebody gets him out, but you can at least like get in there and like heal him, assuming he's still alive.
I just go when he doesn't inhale. Shh! Shut up! Stay low.
There was a light.
Outside of this corpse.
Okay, yes.
Oh
yes.
man, we're gonna have to do some diplomacy here real fast.
Oh man, why does this keep happening?
Corpses of the giants walked away.
Oh no!
Or cover.
I'm a strong boy. I can just lift the giant. Oh, I'm still hasting. I'm still vibrating. Oh.
Yeah, and then so this dragon like lands basically just like wipes out these giants.
Out of fear,
Leaving
I'm
you
just gonna
lot there. And it
What?
doesn't really seem to like pay attention to you. You see it like turns towards this like airship that's like flying away. And it like shouts out again, like this roar bellows out, and anyone who understands Draconic can like hear the words within the roar. As it just sort of says, "Where do you think you're going with my prize, Delphine?" And you can see the ship just sort of like slowly kind of like stop and like
Midair?
yeah, it begins to like turn like because it's floating by a balloon. The
Ah.
propeller just like stops, like slows
They're like-
down,
They're like, oh shit, he noticed us.
and I think that's where we're going to leave things off for this week.
Right. Sounds good.
Level up.
Fun times.
Fun times.
Fun times. So that would mean that next week Mike is in charge of the recap, assuming he's going to be here, and I will see you all then.
Is Tom
Alright.
coming next week?
See you. If his schedule is calling, he should be working next week. The schedule is correct, but I'm not heard from him in a while.
Tom doesn't exist.
every week, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Hmm?
well, he was supposed to be here this week, and then
Works
he
every day, all day.
messaged me. He messaged me again and said that he got assigned extra shifts again. So like at this point, I'm pretty sure like we're never gonna see him. So I'm just being like, Morton, you're the guy now.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Classic.
Anyways, thank
Take
you
that
all
money.
for being here this week.
You're welcome.
And
Thanks,
see
Brad.
you all next week.